Welcome back, Exiles, for another exciting Path of Exile 2 race. Oh, I am so keen to be back for Season 3, Race 1. I am ZIGGYD, joined by RaizQT, and we are here to provide your Yap entertainment.
Definitely some major yapments, a lot of changes in the new 03 Path of Exile, obviously Sprint, but also a new act. This race in particular, we are going to be doing Act 4. There's no interlude, so something to keep in mind for all the players that want to learn. Well, you're not going to be able to learn all the way through to maps, but mostly everything, and we also have some new rules for our players. A lot of players were recommending hardcore, and then people started running Act 4. And then it turns out that Act 4 is kind of hard, but then we still wanted things to get a little bit crazy. So there will be a pretty major death penalty for our players here, which is going to be 2.5 minutes. So if somebody dies, they're not quite out of the race, but they're kind of out of the race. That's a lot of time.
I'm excited for this one because it's like as close to hardcore as you can get while still giving just the remotest chance for someone to make an amazing comeback. And I hope we get one of those stories through these three races. And certainly we've had some insane races over the seasons with some very fascinating storylines. In fact, I just got news just before this race that our mystery racer from last season, Jose, may be returning because they updated their in-game kind of like little message the other day. Saying I'll meet you where the exiles assemble or something like that. So we might have the return of the storylines there. But the story for anyone following who hasn't been living under a rock for Path of Exile 2 racing is that Angormus is unbeatable, right? Well, last time I think we saw Angormus finally see their mortality with Jose almost just coming out of nowhere, a mystery racer. And there's been much speculation on who they actually are. And providing some very heated competitions. We've had races finish at the exact same second. We've had picture finishes. It's exciting time for Path of Exile 2 speed racing with so many rapid changes. Like Raiz said, sprint, new acts, new content, massive meta changes every season. Things going to be completely different this time. We won't be seeing Rake. We won't be seeing what we saw in Season 1. It's going to be completely different, and I'm so looking forward to seeing it. We've got Abysses with them making a huge influence on things, right, Raiz?
Yeah, from what I've been seeing, not a lot of people realize that Abyss actually yields a lot of guaranteed drops depending on the area that you're going to be doing it in. And a lot of our players are going to be utilizing that tech. And not only does it allow you to have a little bit better late game gear, but it also lets you have early 4 links and things like that. So really cool tech that is going to be pretty impactful. And yeah, I am pretty hyped for no Rake. I'm not gonna lie there. The Rake gaming was
I loved Rake.
I mean, it was fun to play. It just, I don't know about watching it. But now we've got a lot of distinct different approaches. Obviously, the big thing for our players is going to be that this is a class race. So it's not just about the top class Cough Cough Warrior, who has been primarily dominating.
We'll see.
But there are
this race.
Yeah, that's true. There are different players who are going to be trying out different classes. And yeah, who knows? Maybe there's going to be some new tech where some of our players are going to be finding a way to finally dethrone Warrior as the king of campaign speedrunning. Who knows?
I have heard some rumblings that some people think that Merc might be better than Warrior. And there's maybe going to be some strong competition from Monk too, possibly. I don't know what we're going to see in this race. I mean, it's hard to imagine Angormus on Warrior not winning a race, right? We've never experienced such a phenomena, so we shall see. Sure. But yes, we have a race to first complete Act 4 today with 2.5 minute death penalties. The winners for each class will receive a unique, engraved with their victory for all of time, the Demigod's helmet. And the winner of the overall races gets to design a divination card, so the fastest time across all 3 races, as well as some disc plates up for grabs for the fastest time for each class across the various races. We should switch over to the races now.
Yeah, we're going to be having, obviously, Angormus in the top left, like we already mentioned. We're probably going to be talking a lot about Angormus, so again, if you're somebody who's not too familiar, just know that that's definitely the window that you want to be keeping track of, but we will be explaining some of our other players. You can see Guy That Dies, who might have a little bit of an unusual setup, but keep in mind that for this race in particular, it is forced for the players to not use widescreen. So because he typically streams in widescreen, that kind of messes with his window, but he is not able to actually play in widescreen, which obviously evens out the competition for all of our gamers over here. Then we've got Sarge, or maybe I'll talk a little bit more about Guy That Dies. Guy That Dies is a super prominent PoE2 speedrunner. He's had some record times. There's been some speculations for some of our races that maybe he was Jose in the past because he didn't show up for one of the races, and then suddenly this Jose guy comes out of nowhere. But here we have him streaming in his prime, and we also do have an observer tool, so we will be able to look at players' gear, players in-game, and we will be able to spy on them even if they're not streaming, as the players aren't forced to stream for this event in particular. So if you are somebody who's trying to hide, we're going to be able to snipe you. No more hidden Jose. We're going to be able to see everything.
Awesome. Now, we're just about to begin in any second now, but I have to say, keep a close eye on Angormus in particular. Other races might be doing it too, but there is new tech for Riverbank. We're going to see 2 maces from the very beginning, and maybe even multiple gem gold farming. What is happening? So apparently, the races have discovered that if you hold a mace on the cursor and then use the checkpoint feature, you can get a second mace so that you can dual wield right from the very beginning, which is a very nice advantage for Warrior in particular. And also you can do the first thing with the first skill gem, which sells for 29 gold each, so that you can duplicate the starting skill gem. There we go. We've got Angormus doing the checkpoint reset with a mace on their cursor so that they can get a second wooden club, and now auto-equipped and running with dual weapons, which that's not legal. That's not legal, Raz. What do you make of this? Is this ethical racing gameplay tactics?
It makes sense, right? Like, that's the key to Path of Exile. Just keep doing the same thing over and over. Oh, Angormus misclicked, and he clicked exit the game instead of exit to character selection or exit to checkpoint. No! A big time loss for Angormus over here.
Oh no, the nerves getting to him maybe. I see that in Sarge's screen we have about 4 gems so far. I'll be interested to see how much gold they're going for. Remember, it's 27 gold per gem here, so... Yeah, that was a really long time for Angormus. I was like,
that's a lot of time
to log back in there. He decided to not go for the gem dupes after that as well, because he would have gotten a few in the end, but decided after that amount of time not to worry about it.
By the way, Sarge is still pumping. He's still going for. I mean, he is playing Monk.
Is he filling his inventory? Is he going to fill up every single space?
I don't know.
I think he's done.
Finally.
I think you got about 300 gold worth of gems there. So in addition to whatever you get from the boss, that's maybe 500 gold or something. This guy's going to be buying out the vendor at the start here. Maybe starting with some jewelry or something.
Maybe
I don't know, but that's dual wielding damage from Angormus.
He might be trying to stack up on gold to get movement speed boots with the new sprint. That 50% more movement speed multiplicative, of course, is just so huge for our players. So there might be an attempt of trying to even out RNG, but also make sure that you have gold for all of the mandatory things for Monk. And because of all the gemming stuff, we haven't been talking about our first boss over here, Miller, who is kind of a tricky fight for the Warrior. You want to put him up against the exit, but you can see for Sarge, that is not the... Oh, Sarge dies! Oh, that's huge! He died on Miller! He's gonna make a new character. Okay, he has to stand still for 2.5 minutes, which is longer than making a new character. So he's gonna make a new character, delete that one, and refarm all the gems.
I mean, I feel like that's a fine circumventing of the 2.5 minute penalty at that point, because I don't know. He spent a good 2 minutes farming gems anyway. Is he gonna do it again? Surely not. Do you think he will? Like, if he's practiced the strategy, it makes sense. Mentally, you wouldn't want to, though, would you?
I mean, apparently we haven't put enough respect on Miller's name, because that is a serious gamer.
Is that our first Miller death? Because we had plenty of Hillick deaths back in the day in Path of Exile 1.
Oh, live for sure, but we haven't seen... I mean, people died to Miller, come on. The thing is, when you're speedrunning, you're trying to min-max your time as much as possible, right? So I was just in the middle of talking about how you're pressuring yourself up against that gate, and that is going to allow you to maximize your damage using your HP pool as a resource. And for the case of Sarge, he was playing it safe, and it still wasn't safe enough. He falls, he makes a new character, and he's farming up those gems. Let's go.
I respect the hustle to stick to the plan, because you've practiced a particular strategy, and it's just mentally so hard to like redo that again. You feel like, I can make up that time I lost by not doing it, but you're not really if your strategy is, what you think is the best, right? Like, that's ultimately what you're doing. I'm pretty excited about the mix of classes we have on screen here, though. We've got Monk in the bottom left. We've got Warrior. We've got some Mercenary and also some Ranger. So a very good mixture of
True.
classes here. And
Yeah,
I'm
extremely
super excited about
interesting.
the early game here as well, because I've heard some very interesting things. And we're seeing a bit of that already from Jungron, for example, but possibly Mercenary. So something I heard from the Mercenary players is that they think Mercenary can be a top class,
Mhm.
but its level 4 to 12 range is a bit shaky in terms of clear
Right.
speed. So we're seeing things like Frostbomb, but also Essence Drain Contagion rounding out Mercenary's early game potentially. And I am seeing some purple being thrown on Guy That Dies screen. And I love that there is like weapon swap spell casting with grenades going on as the strategy here for Mercenary.
There
It's
is
going to
so
be
much
just a
new tech.
fascinating experience.
Even for Warrior, we were talking about previously, but there's some pretty significant changes. Obviously, the early access to Frostbomb that isn't. I mean, I think it's still called Frostbomb, but it applies exposure to everything. So now there's a
Yep.
greater emphasis on early game itemization and trying to get as much elemental damage, even on physical warrior builds, as possible, because that way you're going to be able to increase the potential of your ignites. And for some of these abilities, it's going to result in an extremely powerful hit that's really going to be chunking some of our bosses. But yeah, just to highlight really quickly, Sarge is a player who has previously gotten 5 wins out of the 6 races that he's contended in. So pretty significant there for sure.
Starting
As I
in a bit of a
believe.
deficit today after that reset, though, unfortunately. But
True.
he has been a dominant player, so we'll see if Sarge can take a Monk win still after such a delay. So
And we
we
have
did see a
a
couple extra item purchases there off the gold.
And I gotta say, some of you guys might have noticed an extremely prominent Path of Exile 1 competitor that's going to be Jungron, who has previously been banned from racing for a short period of time due to some, you know, odd behavior from him. But now he's back. He's ready to game. He's practiced PoE 2. And I think this is his first showing in the 7th race, the 7th official race that we've done for
Yeah,
Path of Exile 2.
I think so too. So it's interesting, but I did see some Abyss skips going on earlier, though we are seeing the Abyss completion in the Red Veil for Guy That Dies. So Abysses are
Hmm.
super important here. There are guaranteed drops from many of the different Abysses of different types of drops. In particular, early game here, there is a quest reward for a level 3 gem. And there is also an extra level 3 gem as a kind of drop from Abysses as well in the early game here. So these things have really like changed the strategy of how players play. Like getting that extra level 3 gem means leveling up Explosive Grenade, for example, while still using like a high enough level Frost Bomb and being able to get like Contagion or
Right.
Essence Drain, things like that going. So it's really rounded out strategies for people's early game. Those extra gems there.
Yeah, it's huge and it makes a huge difference. And yeah, you can already see that for Angormus, he is taking down some of those pillars. I believe he has 2 in his inventory right now. So he's going to be heading over to the boss of the Red Veil, already hitting level 5. And this is kind of a tricky zone. You can see his HP really dropping low very frequently in some of the practice runs that I've watched from Angormus. He was getting extremely close or even dying in this zone. So even though he is making these combos of attacks look kind of clean with the Bone Shatter, it is something that you have to time really expertly, or you can get gunned down by those little flower boys.
I absolutely adore Warrior's early game, and Angormus is just so good at displaying it too. So if you're not sure what's happening, Angormus is using the first hit of Rolling Slam and then animation canceling out of that and straight into a Bone Shatter to take advantage of the nearly stunned enemies, just for insane clear in the early game here. It's really hard to beat Warrior's clear. We've got Mercs doing things like Essence Drain and stuff too, and Frostbomb to
Hmm.
try and round it out. But now Warrior's taking advantage of Frostbomb too. And we can see
Yeah.
Angormus doing some immense damage to the Rust King here with a nice combination of default attacks with that double smithing hammer, which is just that nice extra fire damage with Frostbomb, lowering the fire resistance of the enemy as well. So really nice. And a Regal Orb as a bonus there.
Oh yeah.
Very
Let's go.
nice little pile of loot for Angormus.
Super important. Items are so important. Those early exalted orbs. Our players are going to be essentially boss rushing around level 31, depending on the class that they're playing. So this early game currency goes all the way. And obviously, whenever you are running into an issue, maybe your weapon is kind of weak, maybe you want to get a little bit more defenses. Resistances are extremely important in PoE 2 speedrunning. You can always use a little bit of that currency to make things ever so slightly safer for yourself if the RNG gods are with you.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of wild speculation in the chat for different finish times. Like, how long until people beat the boss of Act 4? Oh, 7 or 8 hours. We are likely expecting the top racers to do it in 2.5 hours. It can seem a little wild from comparing to your own personal playthroughs if you've only done 1 or 2. But these races are something else and have been practicing. And Gormus was practicing even before this was announced, which is always the way Angormus has been. Even before any races were announced, Angormus was practicing, and that is why they are currently the best in Path of Exile. That was a little close there, Angormus. Don't do that, everybody.
Zone.
Yes,
I've frequently seen players run out of flasks in the Grim Tangle, and you end up hitting a dead end, and things get really rough, really quick here. But our players are looking for the boss in this zone. They do want those extra gems. A little bit of rare gear helps out as well. And there are just so many things in terms of layouts that you have to pay attention to in these early zones, but especially in general in Act 1 altogether.
I'm so excited about the addition of sprint too, because not only does it make the race faster, it makes it like smoother and more interesting to watch, I think, than like the movement skill kind of awkwardness. I know a lot of the players prefer it. But also it gives us the potential of watching them just comically face plant when they get hit by an enemy, when they overdo it. So I can't wait for seeing some of those moments, hopefully during this race. We have Angormus taking on the Rotten Druid here, and I'm just the single target is just looking very nice from the Warrior here, just with the basic smithing hammers. I like the just kind of minimal possible dodges here, just to avoid not even all of the hits from the Rotten Druid, just avoiding enough of them that you can flash through them whilst keeping up as much damage as possible. So looks to be, he's walking away there. He's going to move it a little bit around. I was about to say a perfect Rotten Druid from Angormus, but slightly delayed there. 1 extra attack phase, but he gets it down. Very nice.
Still, a really nice run so far from Angormus. No major hiccups. I do believe he's already done his... Oh, what a level up! He got so close to dying there, but levels up expertly on that Abyss right as he's about to fall. Nicely done. And he's already got an amulet too.
Level up moments.
He's got an amulet, but no wisdom scrolls to ID. And there's a lot of tech in Cemetery of Eternals that our players have been utilizing. Obviously, you need to find the graves, which is going to give you a 50% chance of getting an iron ring. But also, if you find an entrance to one of the zones and you go inside of it, that is going to essentially snapshot the level of that zone. So when you kill the other boss, it will not increase the level normally, which is a tech that players are going to be utilizing later on. In this case, it's going to be the opposite. The players want the level to be 1 level higher, because that's going to allow the boss to have level 11 drops, which will give our warrior players access to a new base mace that is going to really help them with clearing. But it is kind of tricky when it comes to that, because if you have too much damage, you can't bone shatter the mobs for the extra AoE. So our warrior players are going to be on top of that, keeping their old weapon in their inventory in case they have too much damage, and that is going to allow them for much better clear. As he 50-50s for the Iron Ring, and he gets the Lazuli. No luck for Angormus so far.
Unfortunate. Still a good crafting base. Yeah, any ring is better than nothing, but yeah, the little bit of extra damage is nice. But yeah, it's been fascinating seeing the fine-tuning of the tech here. Although we did just see Angormus open that zone and then leave, so maybe he actually is intentionally maintaining the same level zones. Or did that just get to that's monster level 9 there? So that's 11 for the boss. Yeah.
The reason why you do that is because you open a new zone. So you enter the first one, you snapshot that, and then you make a new zone after you've killed the boss, and that allows you to have both of the bosses to be level 9, which gives you level 11 drops, which does make them that 3% more difficult, but it's more than enough because of that big ass weapon is probably going to help a lot. As Angormus has to.
Oh, was that a sprint collapse? That was a sprint collapse.
That was a sprint collapse. So yeah, whenever you
Yep.
see our players exiting to character
Ouch.
selection, that is to reset the sprint collapse, as Ziggy described it, animation there. So unlike the reset at checkpoint, I don't think it respawns on the mobs. It just continues the game. It essentially pauses the game and it brings you back in, but
Yeah.
without that recovery animation. But it does mean that, yeah, for Angormus, he did end up respawning at checkpoint, correct? I think so, yeah, because he's running back.
Yeah, he went to the start. It is much better to kind of rerun that little bit of ground there than lay on the ground and get wailed on by skeletons, especially when you were as low as Angormus was just then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
We can see Angormus hitting the buffed encounter here. It used to be that chest wouldn't really drop any loot, but you would get a gem from the rare monster that spawned here, the rare skeleton that he's taking down currently. So this has become a bit more worth it. We certainly see players doing this for that extra gem drop. But the extra loot from the chest is certainly a nice little bonus.
Yeah, no rare items for Angormus from the mob in particular, but even blue items at this stage of the game, especially boots, are just so helpful. I'm not quite sure about his items, but I don't believe he has... Well, actually, maybe he does have movement speed boots. He's moving kind of fast, but I don't know if that's not just the Angormus effect that we're seeing here.
It's the speed lines that he has been given because of his demigod helmet that he's wearing.
But Guy That Dies is keeping up. His clear has been super good so far as well. And these zones really allow for a lot of speedrunning expression from our players. There's a lot of different approaches to how you're going to be doing these layouts. And this is where a big gap can happen for Sarge, who has to pause the game. He's surrounded. He's going to have to respawn at checkpoint as Angormus begins his first Asinia fight, hoping for that level 11 mace. We're going to have to see if it's going to happen for him here. Nice stun on the boss. Doesn't have to deal with any of the mechanics. Draven isn't particularly difficult as he is helping his wife, I believe. But on a warrior, you don't really have to be dodging any of his attacks. You're kind of disrespecting him. I don't think I saw a mace, but there's a shield that can potentially be useful for latter parts of the game if it has extremely good rolls. As eventually our warriors, they're going to be switching to, well, not a new set of skills, but recently buffed set of shield skills.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Shield Slam is the apparent meta for warriors in this race, which is the first time that we've seen that in a racing setting here. So it's a completely new race skill meta for us for warrior. So super keen to see how that one plays out. Whether we'll still be seeing any perfect strike or not, or just the shield slam, the shield wall, shield slam action. It's apparently very strong and extremely tanky in the later parts of the races as well. Being a shield build with tons of extra defenses, apparently there are situations you can get yourself into where you just can't die. So that's what you want. But we saw that guys move into that.
It does come with an additional penalty of your shields giving you 3% reduced movement speed as well. So you're going to see a lot more of our players kind of weapon swapping, but then also there's so much more emphasis in the current speedrunning on making sure that you have your chest piece off, which also has a 5% reduced movement speed penalty. So players have been focusing on that so much more as Angormus already begins his Draven fight. Looking pretty smooth so far. Another big stun on about 50%. That ignite isn't particularly huge, but it is pretty helpful. He does seem to have some fire damage on his gear, but also he's using Infernal Cry paired up with the Frost Bomb to try to maximize that ignite as much as possible. You can see that 25% exposure, which again, friendly reminder, the new Frost Bomb lowers the resistances for everything, not just cold. And we're going to see some cool tech over here. We're always talking about like interesting skips that our players are saving a little bit of time with when it comes to skipping some of the dialogue. And a pretty major one is coming up for Angormus. If you guys ever did the Lackland fight, which, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of our PoE2 players have done, you can actually skip all of his dialogue if you respawn to checkpoint after you've clicked the gate. And that saves you about 30 seconds. So a pretty major thing. You can see Angormus doing it right there. And boom, just like that, he skips all of the dialogue ever so cleanly.
I'll be doing that one too. Does
That's
he
a
go straight
lot
into
of
the
time
slam?
saved.
He does. He goes straight into the slam. Great. And I love that positioning from Angormus too, standing right on his feet, not being afraid of those opening slams at all, and just standing in that spot where he just doesn't get hit, allowing that straight into that first stun, past the halfway point, and killing him before he even gets up off the ground. Such a
And
fast
interesting,
kill for him there.
look where Guy That Dies is. He's caught up and he's on a mercenary. He's doing pretty well. His single target not nearly as potent, but I do think there's some players have been speculating that Angormus is truly running the streamer client, as his drops really tend to be a lot better than our other players. And from the looks of it, Guy That Dies has pretty noticeably weaker gear, has to do a lot more dodging, so much more positioning with those grenades coming out with that extra delay. But a pretty interesting approach on the mercenary, and it's going to be effective enough to take down Lachlan with hopefully some drops as we wait for loot. He dropped some. Oh, he dropped a great hammer. He's gonna leave it on the ground. Wait, interesting. How come he's not selling it?
So there has been some speculation as to Merc could do shield wall, shield slam, but
Right.
I'm hearing that the explosive grenade action for Mercenary might be the go, because while it is nowhere near as safe as the Warrior Shields setup, it will have single target DPS that is just previously unrivaled by anything. So I'm very excited to see the Mercenary versus Warrior competition in this, because there has been some speculation that Merc can beat Warrior if the players can stay alive. If they can stay alive and put out those grenades. I don't know if you leveled explosive grenade in this patch, Rise, but its damage is unhinged, let's just say. So I'm like, that early game, a little bit weak. They're doing things like Essence Drain, Frostbomb to try and round it out. But as you can see, it's like Guy That Dies is only just kind of keeping up with Angormus here, which is impressive enough in itself. But if he starts pulling ahead with a massive single target damage increase, then we could be in for a very exciting race here.
Absolutely. I think so, as well. As we were checking out a class that we haven't looked at quite yet. That was a witch on the Lachlan fight. And I got to say, that witch was looking pretty good and it was pretty speedy, but also that player has a pretty crazy weapon. I used our new spectating tool and he had a +1 weapon with spell damage. I think there was some cast speed and extra damage on top of it too. So that witch player coming up with some pretty unethical gear. As Angormus is progressing through the hunting grounds, getting knocked down, but getting back up, trying to find his way around this layout, looking for the mini boss and looking for the road that's going to lead him over to Ogham. Did he already do Crowbell? I don't. That would have
Yes.
been way.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
he
Okay,
ticked that
that
off
was
real fast.
extremely quick. Sorry,
He was doing that
I was taking a
straight
look at
away.
our witch. Wow.
Yeah, you only had to be looking away for a second. It was a very fast Crowbell kill from Angormus there. He's a single target has been good even by Warrior standards here for this early game. And as usual, the Warrior clear is also pretty excellent with the Rolling Slam, Bone Shatters. I've been looking at Guy That Dies Mercenary playthrough though, and seeing the nicely rounded out early game clear is really impressive. We've got those gaps in the grenades just being a bit too long and slow. Early game just meant that it was, that just Frostbomb and Crossbow was not really cutting it for clear, but that Contagion is doing some real work there. And the single target is not quite as good as the Warrior, but it is keeping up. Like we've seen Guy That Dies keeping up in each of those boss fights there.
An important thing to point out also, you guys saw the Guy That Dies did his Abyss in this zone, and that gives you a guaranteed Exalted Orb drop. So if you're also having maybe an SSF playthrough, that's going to be something that's going to be extremely beneficial for you, as our players are trying to obviously maximize their gear as much as possible. Super annoying fight on this Crowbell. It just takes forever. Angormus having to respawn at checkpoint.
Oh no.
Getting close.
Angormus. That is like 2 resets, brush with death moments now. And we've had races where Angormus has gone down. And, with a 1 minute penalty, it almost doesn't affect him. But a 2.5 minute penalty, that is a very different story.
It's even worse than that. We haven't had a race where Angormus didn't die when it comes to my memory.
Surely.
I'm pretty sure he died in every single one of the races. Maybe
I
with
know he
the
has been
exception of
practicing for
one.
Deathless runs. He has been practicing for that. So maybe he's looking to make that change now that the 2.5 minute penalty has come into effect, because it's more important than ever before to avoid that death at all costs. So we'll see.
So
We'll see if we
significant.
can manage to pull that one off. It's wild to think that, because he's just so good. But I love that he's so good because he runs so close to the wire, right? Like he's pushing it to that point where he dies, which is where you want to be. You want to be just one step before that point where you die. As a speedrunner.
Gormus checking his vendor, a really important part of this run. He doesn't have a second ring. There was an iron ring, but he's not quite able to afford it. But another big reason why you want to be checking your vendors at this stage of the game is because you're already prepping up for switching over to potentially having so much damage that you're going to be using a one-hander for a smoother animation on your bone zone. Or if you can get a +1 to melee skills, then that's going to be something that's going to eventually benefit you once you switch over to the shield wall setup. But not quite enough luck, as Angormus now checks and looks through this Ogham village zone. Pretty important that you have the right read here. And to my understanding, players have a quite deterministic way to read this zone, but he's going to be finding the boss, and then he's going to be running back to get the Artificer's Desk, I believe it's called, which gives you a guaranteed... Oh, Angorma is getting close there, dropped down on a sprint from the Abyss as he's looking for that quest that's going to also give him a guaranteed Artificer's Orb, and that would allow him to have even more fire damage on his gear, or potentially more resistances if he manages to find the correct runes for it. And he gets it right here. Hopefully that's going to benefit his character greatly in the long run.
Yeah, the Renly's Workshop now giving a guaranteed craftable rune of your choice is a big improvement as well here.
Yes.
Just for getting that with the Artificer's Orb guaranteed that as well. To be able to get a socket and get that weapon iron runed up.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be keeping a close eye on Guy That Dies loot as well. You mentioned the Exalted Orb earlier, and that's actually crucially important for the Mercenaries, because potentially, if possible, they want to be getting a plus gems one, which you can get very early on if you can craft one, and running that with 3 different weapon swaps: a shield, a leap slam setup, and a one setup. So sorry, and the crossbow for the grenades. So we'll see if we can if Guy That Dies manages to secure themselves a wand and go on the executioner fight.
Cheeky extra save time coming up for Angormus here too, if you guys want to implement it into your own playthroughs. He's going to be taking down the boss, which has some deadly attacks, but for the most part, for an experienced player, isn't going to be an issue. And you can see that he's not going to be waiting for the loot. He's actually going to go for the lever, going to start the animation for that, and then he's going to run back for the loot, which allows you to, once again, skip some dialogue. You know, you don't really want to be listening to those NPCs at all.
Picked himself up a unique pair of boots there as well. He already had move speed boots, but those guys have move speed too. Is it 15 on them? Those ones?
Classic Angormus, I gotta say. That is 15 and strength, and they have increased armor. Those are the decomposition boots, I believe. So quite useful indeed. 10 MS up.
Bring those ones up.
Really interesting stuff there. As Guy That Dies approaches his executioner fight, he's already got the Artificer's Orb. Sarge in the bottom left trying to make up for his crucial early game mistake. Progressing on the Monk, you might be wondering, why are we looking at some of our players who are ever so much behind? It's because it is a class race, so we're going to be watching the race at the very least until all of our class players finish. Hopefully, I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to see how long it's gonna take our speedrunners over here.
Yes, the boots that Angormus picked up were Corpse Wade, which have only 10% movement speed, so the same as what he's already got, but they do have some extra armor, strength, and then trigger Decompose on skill on step, I should say. Which,
and a big
destroys
armor. As much as armor is kind of memed on pretty severely in the latter parts of Path of Exile for the campaign, it is your primary way of defending yourself. Very often you're going to be seeing our players skipping mobs, as the XP in PoE 2 is kind of similar to how it is in PoE 1, meaning that you're always trying to be under the zone level to not have any major penalties, but then also you're able to be early on 3 levels above the zone level without having a penalty, and every 16 levels you can add an extra level to that. So level 16, that's going to be a zone level that's +4. And I forgot what I was even talking about in the first place. I lost my train of thought. There was a major point there, but I totally lost it somewhere in the middle. Oh, damn, Argormas. Interesting. Argormas going for more XP. He found an abyss, and it's very important at this stage of the game because, well, maybe that was my major. I don't think that was my point. But the point that I was trying to make is player need XP. And when player need XP, they do abyss. And the reason why they need XP monster. Is for level 14. They kill monster fast. True. Yeah, he needs level 14, hopefully prior to Geonor, and that's going to give him perfect strike, which is going to just increase his single target so massively with those sources of ignite that we talked about previously.
We've certainly seen Perfect Strike be most valuable skill for warriors in boss killing in previous seasons, and it will maybe be getting replaced for Shield Slam stuff later on, but for now, getting that Geonor kill quickly is of utmost importance because you get to avoid just so many poetry phases with some good Perfect Strike usage. It is interesting because I don't know of, I wonder if that Regal is guaranteed, because I'm unaware of what is the specific guaranteed reward from the Abyss in this zone, because to go out of your way for the Abyss like that, usually they want to be getting that XP, but they want to be doing it at the same time as doing something else, like getting a guaranteed gem drop, or indeed potentially a guaranteed Regal, but Regals are a big deal if so. Don't know if that was just a lucky one or the guaranteed one, because I'm not sure of the Ramparts Regal exactly. Now that we see Guy That Dies moving into Ramparts, that Essence Drain should be starting to fall off, and it's likely that will kind of be slowly phased out in favor of more of a grenade focus moving forwards for the Mercenary, with that Essence Drain Contagion kind of mostly being about rounding out that early game. But I'm trying to look at like the damage here, and it definitely does look like that Essence Drain is falling off a bit now.
Angorma's going for a little bit of a gamble on the vendor, and things not going his way. Both weapons not quite useful enough at this stage of the game, so kind of unusual. At this stage of the game, you're already RNGing for a weapon. I don't think Angormas is particularly happy with his run so far, as we have already reached the 30-minute mark, and our players are somewhat close to exiting Act 1. But obviously we have that beautiful Geonor fight coming up that I'm sure everybody's looking forward to, and we're going to be paying close attention to it on a lot of our players, as it is very likely that they're going to die to it. I've seen so many rips to Geonor where players are trying to maximize damage, and that results in a big rip or a big fight reset, costing them more than actually saving them in the long run in this marathon setting.
We did have a reset from Angormas there as he got himself into a pretty bad way, surrounded by monsters. It didn't get too low. It was more of a safety reset than anything there, but it didn't have too far to rerun at least, but he did fumble the logout button, so cost him a little bit of extra time there. He's back on the run now, and we do see that Guy That Dies and Angormas currently are in a league of their own, being the only ones into Ogham Manor as far as I know. We'll check in with the team behind the scenes to see if they pick up anyone else there. And we can see, we do have some other people exiting Manor Ramparts. Okay, if we can bring some on stream then in the bottom two screens, that would be good. We've got Tropico Driz and Whole New Society.
Yeah, those are definitely names that we're familiar with. If you guys are trying to pay attention to the ladder, obviously this isn't an amazing indication of our players' progression, but there's a link in the chat. Do keep in mind that it does say that there's a 1-minute death penalty on it currently, but I believe that's an old setting. It's 2.5 minutes. If somebody does end up dying, they're not going to be able to move for 2.5 minutes. So not quite hardcore, but pretty hardcore. You're not happy if you die in this race.
Right.
I'm wondering what Whole New Society is playing. Is very prominent Sork player in the past with so many different results in so many different races. Now playing a Mercenary. I do believe that I think Whole New Society switched over to Mercenary in some of the final races of the previous season that we had, but I'm not 100%. It could be, it could be the meta pick, as we are seeing Jungron also in the bottom right, now going for his smithing tools on that Mercenary, looking pretty good. And Django known as a player who, I mean, I don't want to say he's a meta enjoyer, but he's kind of a meta enjoyer, you know? He does tend to kind of create the meta with a lot of his different approaches. I don't want to, you know, be too nice to him over here. Maybe there's even some tech. He's hiding his mana bar. Who knows what's happening over there? As he's frantically checking the vendors, Ogham is still progressing through Ogham Manor, pretty close to level 14. He's focusing on it as much as possible, trying to get that level 14 prior to Geonor for the perfect strike. Not quite sure if he's saving time with this approach. It is just so important, but very frequently players won't be able to get quite the mob density that they are hoping for, and it ends up making them overkill and costing them more time than saving them in the long run. But he does end up getting level 14, and I guess another thing that we haven't really mentioned, I'm pretty sure that this is a fixed seed race, so all of our players have the exact same layout, so you can actually see that the individual layout reads and the individual skill is just going to be making such a massive difference. But when it comes to the mob density and the different mob types that our players encounter, yeah, there's a little bit of RNG there. So just something to keep in mind. Sometimes maybe getting lost and getting a little bit more XP is actually going to be beneficial.
So Chiriprico, Driz, and Whole New Society have managed to get themselves into Ogham Manor. Those three are not streaming, and we do have the spectator tool. We're currently having some technical difficulties, so we're trying to get those on stream if we can, but at the moment we cannot do so. But I'll keep you updated on those guys in the background, and we shall see. We shall see what we can manage.
Still, but getting through Ogham Manor.
Yeah, they're
Ogham is overshooting here. It was so important for him to get this level 14, but now he finds himself pretty far away from that boss fight still. Finally, he manages to fight it, but he's 14 and a half. Another weapon that he's unhappy with. He's going to be dropping it on the ground and picking up some of those two-handed damage nodes for what is most likely going to be a pretty fun fight. Hopefully with not a lot of poetry, but also hopefully with some poetry, you know? Maybe a rip here and there as well. And Garmus, maybe full screen would be appropriate as we have our first player on the... Actually, wait, never mind. Hold on. Guy That Dies is going down the elevator as we speak, as I'm speaking anyway. And he's beginning his fight.
It's
and
so
again,
close.
Friendly reminder, that's a Mercenary right there. Oh, and sorry, Junkroom was playing a Ranger. I think I was talking about Mercenary hype, but he's playing a Ranger.
All right, we're going to be seeing a very close Geonor fight for Angormus and Guy That Dies here, with Angormus picking up the fight just before, just a little bit sooner, and that initial perfect strike there, just doing some immense damage. We'll see how that grenade damage is starting to take over. Oh man, there's some nice chunky hits of damage there between the frost bombs and the grenades. Not only the frost bomb dealing a good chunk of damage, but lowering those resistances too. It is not as fast as a perfectly executed perfect strike, but it's up there. This might be the closest class competition we've seen.
I mean, it's just so far some of the closest player competition that we've seen. I mean, we've been talking about Jose a little bit, but Guy That Dies has been, again, somebody who's had some really good results, but never quite getting this close to Angormus. Really nice perfect strike from Angormus. That damage is huge. Strikes.
Dare I say perfection? Not like, and just standing there through the channeled phase with the frost bomb coming up below him, but he does get the poetry phase though. Unable to skip.
Yeah, his weapon is just not good enough, you know? He was having some really good gameplay there, but his weapon is not quite strong enough. I believe with a better weapon, he would have been able to skip this ad phase, but it is happening for Guy That Dies as well, so a little bit of good news for Angormus there. Now, will they be getting a second ad phase, Ziggy?
Yes, that Geonor health bar for Guy That Dies is certainly much higher. There's enough room there to potentially go into another ad phase if he does fumble some grenade tosses. So we'll see if he manages to plant those grenades. I'm very excited for this part just here where he drops the grenades in and hopefully explodes them right as he's kind of activating, but I don't see any... They're a little bit delayed there, not quite as fast as I would have liked to have seen. Some big perfect strikes Angormus and the Bone Shatter to finish him off. A very clean Geonor kill for Angormus, and he's out of there, ready to go. Meanwhile, Guy That Dies is having a pretty clean finishing up here, and that stun means that he is going to secure the Geonor fight. Very nicely done. Does not get a second poetry phase despite the early one there, and Guy That Dies only seconds behind Angormas, keeping that competition nice and tight for us. Very cool.
Sarge died.
You love to see
He's
it.
standing still for 2 more minutes.
No!
I'm like, wait, is this guy AFK?
It.
What's happening? Does he know this is a race?
Oh, no.
He died again.
Oh, that countdown timer is brutal. Look at that. Oh, and there's actually an on-screen countdown timer now as well. Ooh, nice one, GGG. I like that. That's extra
nice
painful.
That is extra pain. We were watching every single one of those seconds go by in excruciating
it's moving
pain.
so slowly.
As much as we were hyping up the competition between Angormas and Guy That Dies, again, guys, keep in mind that the idea is that Mercenary is weaker than Warrior in those early stages of the game, but eventually it makes up for that time as this is an Act 4 race. So the fact that Angormas and Guy That Dies are so close is not really amazing news for Angormas whatsoever. It might look close, but I don't think he's particularly happy. I haven't seen him frantically checking his friends list as a lot of our competitors do. They add their competition, their opposition to their friends list, and they check what zone they're in. But Angormas, he's running away from the Baron. He's not looking back right now whatsoever. I wonder if Guy That Dies will be able to be the first person to enter next zone, as currently Angormas is doing an Abyss, and this is kind of a important one. I believe it gives you their first access to a level 2 support gem. So not just that XP, but also the guaranteed reward is a big deal.
Hold the bloody presses. We have say in the background, okay, I'm just getting word that we have had not one but 2 people finish Geonor before Angormas.
Wait a minute.
That is insane. We are bringing up Xroos or Zroos or Screws, I'm guessing, on the bottom right via the spectate tool. In game, they are not streaming, but we've just managed to hopefully stabilize the spectate tool live here. Good job, devs. You're doing well. Get it going. And we do have the warrior Screws, I'm going to say. Are you familiar with this name, Raz? I don't quite recall this one.
I do believe we've seen them previously for also the Witch, so that's pretty interesting. That is our Witch player,
it's always hard to tell
it's extra spicy as well.
This is a Witch beating Angormas on the Warrior right now. What is going on? They did. Oh no!
That's crazy.
Did we just see? Wait, Sarge just died again.
Okay,
it was.
Oh no! Listen, I've been having I don't want to say anything because
it's actually a nightmare.
I'm a Sarge enjoyer. I'm a Sarge enjoyer, but I've been trash talking him a little bit too much recently, so I'm just not gonna say anything. You know, RNG, unlucky.
Sarge. Sarge typing in chat. I just can't stay awake. I don't know. XTD. Oh, true. Sarge.
He is German.
We love you, buddy. We love you.
It is kind of
next race is gonna go your way, mate. I feel it. I feel it. Oh, okay. So while we've been watching Angormas and Guy That Dies, Fury's and Dung die in the background too. He's up. He's out of the chair.
He's leaving.
Gone. He's leaving. I think he's done. We might be able to get a clip maybe as well, because we do have Screws in the bottom right covering up Jung, but Jung has also died in the background. I thought they were leaving. They got back in their chair. Looks like they're going to have another crack at it. Good on you. I like that. Don't let one death take you out. Go for that comeback story. Okay, all right, there's a lot happening. Angormas taking out the boss fight there. Very dangerous boss fight, but taking it out fairly cleanly. But while we've been watching Angormas and Guy That Dies battle it out, there has been another battle in the background that we can now start to take a look at. And we have Screws down in the bottom right on the spectating tool now playing that witch and somehow managing to beat Angormas out of Act 1. And not only that, but we also had Driz beat Angormas by a minute as well. So that was a 2-minute lead for Screws and a 1-minute lead for Driz. So I've seen Driz in the past before. But we'll try and spectate those. We can only spectate one non-streamer at a time. So we'll try and get them on when we can if they kind of take over the lead. But we'll try and keep you fine folks posted. But it's heating up here. And, oh man, it's hard to keep track.
I'm watching the Switch right now, and it's looking strong. Their gear is pretty nice. They've got that weapon swap shield going on, but there's also a scepter, which is going to give them a little bit of spirit. Most of our players are skipping that early spirit quest, so it might end up being pretty important, pretty useful. In this case, I believe it's resulting in a few more minions for our witch gamer over here. And I gotta say, their gear is pretty spicy. It's looking pretty good. Gloves that a lot of our melee individuals would dream for. 8 life, and then also +1 to all melee skills with attack speed. So crazy gloves, but not really particularly useful for this essence drain setup that's really pumping through these mobs. Really nice gameplay from
Yeah, it looks very
Screws. Screws.
I'm going with Screws.
No, you can't. Screws, come on. Maybe for that's actually their name.
XX Ruse.
X-Ruse.
If you do see a monk standing in town occasionally on Xcrew's screen, that is just the technical difficulties we're talking about with the spectating client. We'll try and get back to them as quickly as we can, but so far, so good. So we'll see. Try and keep an eye on them as well.
Mm-hmm. That is
But I never thought I'd see the day, though, where we see a witch taking over like that. I mean, we have had the moments where, with the Ascended Witches looking pretty strong for a while there. And I do wonder if the Act 4 is going to change things a bit. I know we even had the Warriors experimenting with whether it was worth ascending. It seems like they won't be. They'll be continuing into Act 4 unascended. But whether that changes things for other classes or not, we'll have to see. If we see any Trials of the Secumas being done.
Yeah, and can we maybe find another player to replace Sarge with, as he's falling quite a bit behind now? I wonder if there's maybe another warrior competitor, if truly everybody has moved over to the new Mercenary Supreme class, as Guy That Dies is progressing so nicely. But the delay on those grenades, I gotta say, when it comes to the clear, it's not looking nearly as good. I mean, it could also boil down to some of these layout reads, as in Act 2, that does tend to save you a lot of time if you have really good layout reads. But Guy That Dies and Gormus neck and neck, and I wonder if the mercenary strategy of being ever so slightly stronger later on is going to come out on top, as Guy That Dies will be the first person to exit the quarry and enter the Maudun mine. Are we? Oh, we're not having in-game highlights, I don't think. So Gormus doesn't know. I wonder if he knows. Does he know? Is he aware? Is he lacking
Is he
critical
aware?
information?
There is a lot of lacking critical information. I think here the mysteries of the racing are deeply intensifying. As who
Okay.
even knows what's happening right now? We are trying to bring Screws back as soon as possible. Just the like we said, the in-game spectating at the moment is proving slightly problematic, but we'll try and keep an eye on how the race is playing out and keep you folks updated as well as much as possible.
And in the meanwhile, we've got my favorite Shackle coach who's playing a witch. So I think he was playing a warrior in the past. So another big switch up, and he's been practicing. He's looking good. Currently battling an Abyss with that Essence Drain setup. And obviously Essence Drain just looking so smooth when it comes to Abyss. Such a nice clearing skill.
They're doing nicely at the moment in getting into that Act 2 at this point. Is a decent run for them. And we've seen some pretty good runs for Chekhov Coach, just not quite being able to close it out each time, usually having a bit of an upset in those later acts. So I'll be keen to see if they've managed to smooth out their game, because as a relative newcomer, they surprised and impressed us in some of the earlier race seasons. So even earning a favored position for Rise, it sounds like a spot close to his heart.
I'm just a fan of not just the moves, but also the personality. You can see that he's invested. You can see that he's putting a lot of work into it. And I love to see it. Players who are just so emotionally invested, it's not always the most enjoyable experience for them, because it can be very devastating. Only one person can be first. But from a viewer point of view, I'm personally a huge fan, as currently we have still Guy That Dies with a pretty hefty lead, with a quite good layout read in the previous zone, saving them a lot of time. Not a whole lot of things that you have to do in this zone when you're looking for Rugia, that Guy That Dies currently found. All you have to do is basically up. Just go up, 12 o'clock. not a super difficult layout, but a pretty difficult boss. Depending on the amount of fire resistance that you have, you're going to be able to face tanking more or less.
Look,
And obviously,
look at
there
the
is now,
damage.
holy moly. I was going to say there
Those
is that
grenades.
one-shot mechanic, but not for guy that dies. That's a
you mean
quick kill.
one-shotting the boss? Is that the mechanic?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
oh,
for sure.
Yeah. We are starting to see those grenades take over now. And I'm very excited to see Act 2 is where they're going to start popping off. We just saw the worst parts with that Essence Drain contagion starting to fall off for them. But now being overtaken by that just raw power, explosive power of the grenades.
Yep.
Loving it. We're going to see some insane bossing.
When it comes to crossbow leveling, this is technically also when it's seemingly at its weakest, because the weapon that you get level 16 isn't a huge upgrade over the weapon at level 10. So only really at level 22 are things going to be getting really crazy. And yeah, crossbows received huge buffs. Those grenades are so nice now, not just in terms of damage, but also mana management. This particular playstyle had a huge issue when it came to leveling due to the extremely high mana cost of gas grenade, but that was buffed up, or well, the mana cost was nerfed, therefore the skill was buffed up in, I believe, the most recent patch, and it makes for just such a smooth, such a clean playstyle. And Guy That Dies is really utilizing it to the maximum, as he is focusing a lot less on killing monsters now. You can see him skipping over that abyss. He's not interested in a guaranteed reward from it just yet, but he will be interested in an upcoming guaranteed 4-link reward from the abyss that I believe not a lot of players even know about, but our speedrunners are extremely familiar with.
I didn't know about the 4-link one. That's cool, because that sort of thing is hard to track. So there's a guaranteed 4-link item drop, is there?
Yes, this is correct. It is in the buried shrine. So sometimes you're going to be seeing our players running back through that zone even when they find the exit, just to look for that abyss. But it is a little bit tricky, because I'm not quite sure if it's quite there yet or if it's maybe a little bit later. But sometimes in the campaign, you can get 2 abyss spawns. And when that happens, only that final abyss in that zone will drop you the guaranteed reward. So sometimes, even if you find the first abyss and it doesn't drop it, you're quickly going to realize, oh, there's another abyss I'm going to have to be looking for. And in the latter stages of the game, whenever that does happen, some of our players have backup strategies to make sure that they're not missing any of that crucial time off their timer, as this is a speed run. We got to go quick.
And just falling memes aside, just to clarify, we're talking about a lesser jewel orb that drops from the abysses.
Of course, naturally.
not the falling items. I haven't seen any of those dropping just yet. No.
no, wrong game. Sorry, a little bit of my PoE 1 habits coming out. Obviously, a PoE 2 race. Can't mention.
We're seeing more Jeweler's Orbs, thanks to the changes through Abyss and a few other little bits and pieces here. There's even a greater Jeweler Orb in Act 4 as well, which comes a little late in the party here, probably to affect things too much, as it's right when they're sprinting through that last zone, so we probably won't see that get utilized. But maybe for future races within Act 5 and 6, maybe? We might see some things like that.
Yeah, this being a little bit of a shorter race, you can also see that our players are skipping Balbala, at least for the Mercenary and for the Warrior. So there's not going to be any ascending for those classes in particular, but maybe some of our other players have some secret strategies. In the past, we've seen people utilize the demon form.
Nice. We'll try and get Screws on stream again when we can get the in-game client working.
We're trying.
But again, it's being a bit problematic. But
another important zone, and there's some cool tech in this zone. You might sometimes have the NPC that's running with you stay behind. That's been kind of fixed a little bit, but it still is wonky sometimes. She gets stuck on enemies. But if you guys are looking to get through the zone as quickly as possible, remember that whenever you get to the next checkpoint, you can always respawn at checkpoint, as you're only ever going forward with this simple layout, and that will respawn the NPC on top of you. So if she ever gets stuck, you can save yourself a lot of time there if you don't notice that she is fighting something in the background with her measly 4 DPS. It's going to take her a long time to clear out these mobs. But not for our racers, not for our competitors. They're truly blasting through these enemies. I'm seeing it.
Okay, we might be getting them back now. Good stuff. Work team.
Holy full
production team
reset.
is working furiously in the background trying to sort things out. Let's see if we can get that stream working, because they've got themselves in a very good position here as well. Just looking at the times, and it
For
looks like the
production,
Arco did beat Angormus at least a checkpoint there.
production dropping the "What a Monday" in the chat. Listen, they're trying their best. We're trying our best, guys. The first out of the 3 races in this new 0-3 season. You know, things are going to get kind of crazy to try to give you guys the best possible racing experience
Yeah.
in the future, as Guy That Dies is really challenging himself with that first phase Jamanra fight. Pretty easy fight, pretty simple. You can see he's even min-maxing some of his points, now approaching those really powerful double grenade passives on the skill tree. Jamanra is going down. A little bit of an ad phase is probably going to happen, but a pretty smooth fight, and manages to get ever so slightly ahead of Angormus, who is beginning to struggle with his Bone Shatter. Angormus is also approaching this stage of the game where he will be soon utilizing his shield wall, not quite making a full transition, but warming up to the ability and using it for single target.
I can't wait to see it. But that little moment from the boss fight there with Guy That Dies, with him standing on the door waiting for it to open, and then like the massive swarm of enemies charges him right before they phase out, like
Yep.
timed out perfectly. Beautiful. But
Very
Guy
nicely
That
done.
Dies securing just a bit more of a lead every second, it feels like, as he just kind of like gets a little bit further ahead, even despite that crash there. So we'll be very interested to see how well the shield stuff starts taking over for Angormus, and whether he can kind of catch back up. I haven't identified any huge mistakes in Angormus's play so far. He's just maybe not having his fastest race ever, but he's also, we're seeing the fastest races ever from everyone else. So that's
True.
exciting. That's very exciting.
There's just been so much practice, you know. In the past, a big reason for why Angormus was just blasting everybody else was because he practiced more than anybody else. He
Yep.
really started practicing day one, but at this stage, PoE2 has been in early access for quite a while, and the amount of time that he's practiced compared to other players, that gap is decreasing. There's only so much that you can do with your time. And yeah, Guy That Dies is showcasing it perfectly here, as he's going for another quick boss kill. This one is going to yield him 2 passive points. The boss manages to hide right before Guy That
Little
Dies is
Matrix
able to
dodge.
detonate his gas grenade.
Yeah, cheeky snake ducking right under there. I
But
was enjoying that too.
this zone is pretty important to have a good layout read on as well. And the primary reason for that is because there's a guaranteed amulet drop from one of the side zones, and if that amulet is strong, it can really help you a lot. You can get +1, you can get additional dexterity, which I don't think is as big of a deal for Mercenary, but it would be a really big deal for Angormus once he gets there. But you can get some of your endgame gear in this zone right here. And I am speaking endgame because our players are most likely only going to be getting to level 31, maybe level 33. So you're really beginning to focus on some of your final gear. And a big aspect of that is going to be resistances, which I'm going to talk about in the next zone. Why not?
Yeah, so previously we saw players pushing for, it was historically a lot of the time it was level 28, usually farming that out at the end of Act 2 and then just sprinting their entire way through to the end of Act 3, barely killing anything except what they had to kill that was directly in their way, like bosses and whatnot. And obviously that same strategy is going to be replicated, but changed now moving into Act 4, with that final sprint being kind of pushed back a little bit further. And we've seen a bit of a mixture of like kind of, well, we'll see what it ends out being. But like Rise has been saying, we've got like level 31, level 33 kind of as the aimed levels. 33 being particularly notable for the crossbows, as that's when you get the bombard crossbow from. So for the grenaders, that's going to be huge potentially. But the gear requirements for 33 does hit you a new breakpoint of defensive gear as well. So it's important. But if you've got good enough gear as a warrior, maybe you can push through a bit earlier. And I know Angormus has been experimenting with that. So I'd love to see like a early under-leveled push here to take advantage of that tankiness that's inherent in the build that they're going to be going. What has happened for Angormus there? Do we have a log or a crash or? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a game reset there for Angormus. That is not what he wants to see.
Something unusual happening for sure.
Yeah. That is a little rough. We do see Guy that dies racing their way into Lost City. We did see Angormus kind of overtake Arco, who was leading for a little while there. And looking at it now, I think Angormus might. Oh, it's pretty much identical now after that reset.
Yeah, it's close, and this
yeah.
is a pretty important zone, the Lost City. Well, not quite this one yet, but the one right after this, because that's where you are getting that Lesser Jeweler Orb, which is going to help guide the dice tremendously. But there's also a side quest where you're able to get one of the resistance rings. And we're going to be seeing some personal preferences coming out. Some of that might be dependent on some of the other gear that our players have. But already our players going to be preparing for a very sketchy Benedictus fight in Act 4, which requires a pretty significant amount of lightning resistance. And we're probably going to be seeing a lot of rips when that's going to come up.
Okay.
But another important part for Angormus is that he can potentially drop a level 7 gem here, which is going to give him early access to... Oh, right as he drops a spirit gem. I'm sure he was hoping that was a level 7 gem, because that's going to give him access to Leap Slam, which really helps Warrior set him apart from all the other classes, as some of our upcoming zones, you're able to navigate them so much faster with that Leap Slam. But you do need a little bit of RNG, or you have to wait for that guaranteed the gem that you end up getting eventually. Guy that dies with a massive abyss. And let's see, is this going to be his guaranteed drop from the buried shrine? Or, man, he's stacking them up. This is going to be... Oh, a big explosion. That was huge.
Cool. That's awesome.
Oh, this is getting crazy. Imagine Essence Drain here. Holy.
Yeah, that'd be satisfying.
Look, he's chaining the gas grenades to get a giant explosion. He's maybe trading a little bit too much, some of those old gas grenades expiring.
Yeah, I lost a few there, but that's a lot of monsters right there. I love that. Very satisfying. Extra layer of satisfaction there with the look at all that currency, baby.
And he gets it too.
Jewels orb. Yeah, got himself.
Meanwhile, Angormus did his as well. So, oh no, and that was the Lost City for Angormus. So, not quite there yet. Damn, Guy That Die is really getting ahead.
Yeah, it's really good. That's one zone ahead, pretty much, for Guy That Dies. He's getting to the last stages of that. Should be pushing into the boss fight pretty soon, with Angormus just starting it. So a nice little lead for Guy That Dies. He hasn't really pulled ahead too much more from what we've been seeing. So it's not an unbridgeable gap, but Angormus is going to have to. Yeah, they're going to have to get down, buckle down, focus in. Here we go. Here comes the boss fight. We're just seeing a quick checkpoint after getting the boss fight checkpoint here. Going for... What did they miss? The resistance ring? Possibly?
For...
Guy That Dies.
Yeah, for sure. That's the resistance ring he's looking for.
Yeah. That's a good pickup. Especially, I think I was being noted, getting some cold and lightning resist for a certain point moving forwards. There's definitely been some
Benedictus.
Gear. The gear.
It's Act 4 Benedictus. There's a lot happening in the background, so I did discuss this a little bit before, but if you're not able to get a lot of lightning resistance on any of your other gear pieces, it is kind of tricky. It also does help with the Jamanra fight, because that can be pretty difficult. A lot of our newer players struggling with that fight a lot. These guys, let's see, what kind of ring is he going for? Lightning, yeah. There's that topaz ring.
Interestingly, almost picked up a ruby, so that's an unusual swap there. Because I would have thought lightning or cold, but
that's a good indicator.
Go for the ruby.
That means that his other gear is pretty good. That means that he's got some pieces that he's really not going to be getting rid of in the future, or maybe he had some random drops previously. Obviously, again, this is all dependent on what you're going to be doing, but resistances are very important. They will be influencing the route for Act 4. For some of our players, there's going to be a lot of gear swapping going on and things like that, but we'll talk about it when we get to it. Meanwhile, Guy That Dies takes down the crying baby boy guy.
I was just trying to what's the guy's name again? You never see his boss health bar usually, right? Because you kill him before
that's quick.
It comes up. Yeah, the guy maybe will need some buffs at some point, but we do see the shield wall swap happening for Angormus now as well. So we're seeing some totems being thrown down. Later on, we get some juicy Warcry action, but those shield walls can start being pretty powerful. But he is having a bit of a fight here
Damn.
with a couple of nasty Abyss rares just ganging up on him, stacking up there. But he is trying to work them down. He needs that extra Jeweler's Orb. Those extra support gems are just so crucial. So he's pushing through what is a very difficult and unfortunate fight here. Oh my lord, these rares can be so bad, right? There we go.
Oh,
He
but
gets an
he
extra
gets
Artificer's Orb. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. Let's see. Is this
That
the
is
only
nice.
abyss in the zone? Oh no!
There's still another one, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's
he's
another
gotta pull
box.
Up, he's gonna pull up this chest.
Oh.
Yeah. He's okay, he's okay. It'll be from this one for sure. He's gotta kill another wave.
Hold up.
Brutal.
I mean, this is unusual, I gotta say. From the point of the resistances, it does seem like Angormus is getting some pretty good RNG.
There
But
it is.
yeah, his weapons have not been looking great. His damage has been lacking. And especially now at this stage of the game, it gets kind of weird
shield?
because yeah, you have a
Not good
that
enough.
shield is not good. Yeah, none of these shields are particularly good enough. You're looking at least like 100 armor on these shields right here. He's not quite at the super important shield breakpoint. That's going to be in a zone level 28 when he's able to upgrade a lot of his gear for armor, but then also that is the primary source of damage for a shield. Plus levels help as well, but yeah, it's kind of a wonky setup currently. Angormus doesn't seem to be having a particularly good weapon. He is already super dependent on that shield wall, but he doesn't seem to be having a particularly good shield either. This is costing him a lot of time. I gotta say, this is a quite unlucky run from Angormus so far. Not to take away from Guy That Dies, he's been playing really expertly, but Angormus with an unusually low amount of RNG. He's kind of the player that we're always expecting to have a lot of RNG. And a friendly reminder for everybody, we've had 6 races. This is the 7th one. Angormus won all 6 of them. If Guy That Dies manages to beat him, that's pretty unprecedented.
And definitely very unprecedented. Angormus does not know the taste of defeat. He has never suffered that. So it will be a test of his mettle. One that, you know, if it does happen, I think is only going to strengthen him potentially.
Bottom left, though.
Stories in the making here.
For sure. But Shackle Coach in the bottom left, ascending on that witch. Pretty interesting approach. Again, this is a speed run. We're trying to finish Act 4. So you're really setting yourself back by running this ascendancy trial. And it's very important that the ascendancy nodes that you get from it make up for how much time you end up spending in this zone, as you don't tend to get particularly good drops or a whole lot of XP especially. And he has a big timed event. Utilizing that Bone Storm, you can see him looking for the rare mob, which lowers the timer over there. He's going to be killing it, and that's going to take down 15 seconds from his timer. He's probably not going to be able to kill the next one, so he's primarily focusing on dodging here, as you can already see him positioning himself close to the door with Angormus and Guy That Dies neck and neck still, battling another Abyss. And it's kind of important, because you want to be exiting Act 2 at about level 28 or 29, depending on the sort of class that you're playing. And that means that you're going to either have to XP a little bit more early on, and that's what our players are doing, or you're going to have to spend extra time rerunning everybody's favorite zone, Vanguard.
I'm watching Guy That Dies dual boss fight here. Just want to see if they can get the grenades stacked up on both of them at the same time. It's looking very good. There is a huge amount of grenade damage going down there. Ekbab is down, and Iktab is frozen and destroyed at almost the exact same time. That is one of the cleanest duo fights I think we've seen there, outside of one of the like maybe double perfect strikes we've seen in the past. That was incredible. Sure. And easier to pull off than the what the Warriors have had to do in the past with perfect strikes. So that was those grenades are definitely living up to the hype this race season, and Guy That Dies continues to pull ahead as Angormus is just struggling just a little bit.
I think he's desperate. Look at these rare mobs that he's killing. He's really desperate for items. He is having an unusually low amount of RNG. I mean, I'm looking for the Mastodon fight, as that's going to be a pretty good indicator. One of the big reasons why this build is so strong is because you're able to hit both of those bosses so consistently. And Angormus! Angormus almost dying. He's fine. Holy, giving me a heart attack there.
Get back up, buddy. He's fine.
He's chilling.
He's fine. Just a little, he's tripped on a pebble. He's okay. Oh, I love the sprint animation fall over. It's so good. It's so visceral. Yeah. I'll be interested to see if Guy That Dies takes on the Abyss here in Valley of Titans, because it has a guaranteed unique drop, apparently. So it looks like he is gearing up to do just that. Yeah, let's have a look.
Wait, really? In this one? I didn't even know about that.
That's what I got. That's what I've been told in the notes.
Who told you
we'll see if that holds to be true here.
Was it Angormus? Is he running contra intelligence? Ooh, Angormus not able to hit the...
It could be misdirection. Let's see.
Not able to hit the steed at the same time. There's an enrage there.
Deckback was a little bit low, a little bit behind there. Does have to do a bit of an extra fight with him, but does manage to get through it nonetheless. Not too problematic for him.
I gotta say, Angormus is looking so desperate. You can see him looking at every single piece of gear. This is so unusual. He's such a practice player, but he's just having to spend so much more time looking through all of these gear pieces that normally he wouldn't be focusing on until level 28 zones. But I'm also looking at Guy That Dies. Is there really there's no way there's a guaranteed unique here. Hold up, wait a minute. Did he do it?
That's what I've been told. I can only pass on the information I received from the races. There's still a chest there. Go back and show us.
He's not finishing it. He's baiting.
What?
Wait, what's happening?
Why do you do this? Oh no. Okay.
This is sus.
Come on, guy. Come on, man. Let us know. I want to see. Okay. Well, maybe Angormus will check for us. I will say, like, even if there is a guaranteed unique, it's potentially so, like, random and variable that it's not really something to rely on for the race. I don't know. I feel like I'd want to try, but at the same time, if it's going to take a lot of time, it may not be worth it. He might be crossing back over here. No, he's going to turn off.
I believe this layout was super figured out by community member and speedrunner Lundberger. So there could be that Guy That Dies is having a really good read here. This is something that people only really figured out a couple days ago. So I wonder if that is part of it.
I absolutely wanted to shout out Lundberger and the just the culture of info sharing amongst the racers. If you want to get into Path of Exile 2 racing, it is not too late for you. Even though these people may be unapproachably amazing right now, they only started practicing recently. They only started learning this stuff recently. And the community is sharing so much knowledge over on the Path of Exile Racing Discord, but also on the Codex Discord as well. So there's two really good Discord groups there that you can get involved in and share some knowledge to help the racers out, or learn from many eager people who are, just more keen than, like they should be hoarding information for themselves, right? If they want to win, but people are keen to share. They want to like push the esport, the PoE sports forwards as much as possible. Here we go. And I love to see it.
Ziggy, this is it. Abyss for Angormus, Shackle Coach Ascendant. He's going for the demon form Infernalist. I wonder if that's going to pay off.
Nicely done. We'll get to see
Apparently,
that.
Guy That Dies just couldn't find the last mob. I don't know. Something.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that, right? Sometimes Abyss is like that. Let's see.
Here we go.
There it is. I told you.
It's not trash, though. He got a stick.
It is. It is not good for him. but that is a unique, and I will consider that pool of one stat to be the 100% confirmation of the.
I think that's the Ember Fusilade weapon. Maybe he's gonna switch over, because his damage is looking so wonky.
I don't know about that, but it's a chance shot. It's gold. It's some gold.
It's gold. Okay, Shackle Coach. Let's see what kind of damage can this witch put out. Still utilizing Essence Dread, and obviously there's a lot of tricky stuff happening when it comes to your lifebelt constantly fluctuating. But holy, look at the speed! Shackle Coach is so fast.
Is this guy so sped up? We are watching the ×2 replay right now. Apparently, no, that is just how fast Witch gets to move in demon form. It's so good. It takes a long time to do that ascendancy, obviously, but the theory is that at that point, once you've done it, you more than make up for it after ascending. And this is the one class that consistently has pretty much always ascended. So, and we are still, and with Act 4 extending the length of the race, there's more time for that to pay off. So we'll see, you know, a more of a reason to actually go for that ascendancy there. Of course, the warriors or mercs still not going for that ascendancy. Some other classes have experimented, like ranger and things like that. So we'll see if any of them end up ascending. But that witch, looking very nice.
But Titan Grotto for both of our players, pretty interesting. I was watching Angormus's replay, and he was talking about how he's not super proficient in this zone. He tends to just stick to the wall, and apparently there are some recently newfound techs for reading it. So potentially, if and it is kind of unusual for Angormus to admit, "Hey, I'm not super good at reading this zone," as he totally super read it and he just found the boss. Oh, they both found it at the. Oh no, he hasn't found it. Never mind. I thought I saw the lights, but I didn't. Guy that dies does manage to find the boss faster. So again, that is a zone where I was thinking maybe Guy that dies is potentially going to be able to get a little bit of an edge on Angormus, and that's exactly what's happening right here. Guy that dies
We're not seeing
staying
armpit
at range.
standing from. Yeah, we're not seeing the
You
armpit
can't.
cheese from yeah.
It's because of the It's because of the crossbow. The grenades fall down. They fall down and they don't do damage. So if he doesn't
Yeah, you
have
actually
a
want to
quick
stand
enough
back.
explosion there, you end up doing very little damage here with the crossbow setup. Unlike the
Forced
warrior,
to do the
who's
fight
definitely going to be
ethically,
pumping.
kind of, quote unquote,
Kind of, yeah.
ethically. Considering
Yeah.
this damage. I don't know if ethical's the right term exactly. Oh, the laser's chasing him around the arena there, kind of traveling with it for a little bit. A little bit of a spicy finish, but
The
Gala
ads?
dies doing so much damage.
Okay, he actually got really close to dying there. He had a bunch of ads and he wasn't able to put down the portal. He was respecting it, but they still blew up right in his face. That potentially could have one-shot him. So nicely done by Guy that dies. A tricky setup to deal with, but nonetheless, so far the Mercenary, he's pumping, and on Garmus, he's feeling the burn. I'm sure
So just
of it.
a bit of an update for the background and also the technical side of things. So we won't be able to use the in-game spectating tool for the rest of this race, but we will try to have it fixed for the next race. Apologies for that, but some last-minute technical difficulties did crop up, and we didn't want to use it anymore, being that it's a bit too unstable. And a bit of an update on the background racing. So Screws, I believe, has fallen behind a little bit. It's still kind of up in the pack with them after a very early kind of like lead on the witch there ahead of Angormus and everything, but I think he's not quite leading the pack anymore. And we did have, I believe, Driz as well, who's also not streaming. So we'll try and keep you folks updated on those folks. But unfortunately, with our spectating tool, we can't look in on the non-streamers right now. But it does look like at least maybe... I'll try and get another update as soon as we can once they hit a new checkpoint. But I think we mostly have the leaders on screen now, thankfully.
Look at the damage from Angormus looking better, potentially. Again, we can't quite check his gear, but potentially getting some upgrades here. Definitely catching up on this boss fight. This guy that dies already in a pretty crucial zone for Warrior. So the first level 28 zone where Warrior always tries to get a lot of armor, but that's going to be the case for Mercenary as well, right? Obviously, you want as much armor as possible. Again, it's kind of a memed on stat, but in the campaign speedrunning, it's super important, especially for zones like the waterways, where you're constantly getting hit and you're skipping a lot of mobs, and you really need that armor to keep yourself alive. But that's also maybe an interesting zone because there's going to be a lot of weapon swapping involved for Guy that dies because, well, that shield just gives you so much survivability when you're not killing mobs, but it does add extra buttons potentially that you have to click if you're trying to keep your damage and your mobility in check. Shackle Coach goes for the Sapphire Ring. Oh, it's crazy! 26 life, 7 all attributes. Shackle Coach is going to be happy with that one. That's gonna eat a Regal rail soon. I can tell you that for sure. And Ziggy, I can't wait. I'm desperately looking for where is this abyss. Even though the demon form is going quick, even after the nerves, that dodge is more like a dash, and it's still going super quick. There's the abyss. Essence Drain looking good.
Yeah, it's just shredding through those abysses. It's so clean on this, isn't it? Compared to the other ones that have to work to take out every last mob.
Holy! He almost one-shotted with the Bone Storm on that rare. That's
Infernal's just looking insane.
Yep,
so good, so smooth, right? Man, I gotta play that. I gotta play that character. I gotta play that.
It's fun. It's hard to
I have
play,
not
but it's
yet. I gotta
fun.
give that a go. Whew. It looks so good.
He's charting
Just a
up.
bit of an update. Guy that dies was, at least as of entering Dashar, officially in the lead. So kind of the first one to get in there. Driz is up there in the background, but Angormus is certainly closing in a little bit throughout Dashar, with maybe Guy that dies spending a little bit of extra time in there. But Shakar Coach is definitely one to keep an eye on. I love to see that Infernalist action, even if they are still a fair ways behind the current leaders. I'm not sure if they're leading on the Witch side of things. I'll try and get an update on, because it was, I believe, Screws that was playing the Witch as well. So we'll see where they kind of compare to Shaka Coach.
Let's see the
Let's have a
single
look at that
target
single
from
target.
Shako.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Oh, the chunks. Brrr. It's good.
The highest single target I've ever seen on this boss actually was on an Infernalist using some gem swapping tech to basically one-shot the boss. I'm sad that we never got to see that in a race, but that is pretty close. It's the closest we've seen right there. That's a lot of damage. That's even faster than the grenades were. Crazy.
And you can see the difference in gear on that fight from Arco. Damn, Arco getting close to dying to those ads. Those will kill you really quickly. Again, though, they tend to not be that big of a problem if you're having a regular playthrough. But for our speedrunners, they don't have a whole lot of HP. Even if you're a warrior, you're going to get one-shot by a lot of things. And those ads do tend to prove to be really problematic. But Arco takes down the Titan. And I got to say, his damage was looking probably twice as good as Angormus's. So I'm assuming that he's having not just a lot of gear, but also some plus levels. Or maybe in the case of Angormus, his gear is just so bad. Oh, man. Arco really thinking about a pair of gloves there, really. Oh, no, he buys it. He ends up buying it, and he instantly finds another +1 to melee skills. Oh, the worst. That hurts my soul.
Yes, I feel that. Usually it's that you buy something and then like the next zone it drops, but that was literally in the same vendor. Oh no.
Wait, was it actually no, it was, right? It was totally a +1. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a +1. It was a +1 melee skills gloves.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Because again, we're getting some of our players final gear, and +1 levels is huge when it comes to the shield damage. It is very important that you get a powerful shield with a lot of flat damage. It does scale with those 15 flat armor breakpoints. But yeah, the plus levels are a big deal, especially if you can get it on a non-invasive piece of gear such as the gloves, and not something like maybe a weapon that some of our players are still utilizing for clearing in some cases. They're not quite doing a full swap over to shield wall just yet with the respec. We're going to be seeing that at the start of Act 3, though.
I'm going to see some pretty wild things potentially out of the builds for the mercenaries as well, with if they end up using sort of like Frostbomb and wanting to keep that leveled up and getting like plus gem wands and stuff like that. I haven't seen any ones from Guy that dies, so it's possible that they're differing from that strategy that I've been hearing from the mercs practicing. But weapon swapping with like full trees of intelligence nodes, it's been one of the strategies I've heard about. So we'll see how that ends up playing out for them. But right now we do of course have the leap slam weapon swap, which is especially crucial in this zone. There's just some big skips you can have cutting across some of those gaps here, and maybe even trying to get that skip there, but getting a little bit harassed by some monsters, having some trouble with the statue in the way. Does manage to hop across the gap there. And then, of course, the weapon swap for the grenades.
There's a lot happening in the background. We're not quite able to give you guys the spectating that you deserve, unfortunately, for this event. But apparently, Driz and Whole New Society have both also exited the Shar. So they're not just potentially close to Guy that dies, they're potentially ahead of him, who's now fighting Torgul. Let's pay attention to how much single target we're going to be seeing here.
Yeah, I think Guy that dies is still just in the lead. They did get that entrance first, a bit ahead of the others, and I haven't seen them really make any mistakes in here. So, yeah, Torgul has been a boss to embarrass, and I feel like Grenade's going to be taking that to a whole new level here.
Yeah, he did get buffed recently, I think, in 0-3, but...
Hang in there a bit more now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's putting up a fight, you know?
He's doing an attack. It's impressive. Good job,
It's
Torgul.
not hitting. I mean, his aim, he's still working his aim,
little
but...
tiny with the whirly winds. Oh, so cute. That's a lot of jewelry.
Oh, damn.
Soul amulet and a rare belt, a rare amulet, rare belt. Very nice.
He was not ready for this amount of gear. Wow.
His inventory could not hold all of these juicy rares that was dropping there. There was too much currency in there.
Man,
Clean
and
up,
a big deal.
clean up
Look,
that inventory bit.
Angormus, despite being a warrior and having access to Leap Slam, which really saves you a lot of time in the Spires of the Shar, not quite able to fully catch up. He is catching up.
Yeah, he's just about to start that fight now, so that's closer than he has been, at least.
Let's
he gets
see.
a nice fast kill here. I'm curious
to
see how this damage stacks up. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Okay. Oh yeah, some decent chunks there.
I mean, I
That's
gotta
starting to look a bit better.
I was expecting a lot more. I mean, I think his gear still kind of sucks. He is utilizing a shockwave totem that allows him to detonate his shield wall, so he's able to just fully spam it at the moment. But as much as this damage is looking good, if you compare it to a casual playthrough, I don't think Angormus is happy with this.
That was very close to the grenade kill. And to be that close to the grenade kill, honestly, that's really impressive. I am actually a little concerned for the grenaders then, if they, unless their damage can continue to pull ahead, then if it's not that, it has to be, I think, a big enough difference in the boss fights. Just like 1 second difference in the boss fights, I don't know. I think it's got to be a much bigger difference in the boss fights for that Merc to really take the win this time.
The big thing that I really wonder about, I haven't really seen a whole lot of Mercenary runs, but I have played with crossbows when some speed leveling myself, and there is a very important crossbow at level 33 that gives you an additional projectile, which really lets your gas grenade link together so nicely, and it allows you to maximize damage on top of, well, having an extra gas cloud, which obviously with no penalty is just a lot of damage. So I wonder if Guy That Dies is going to be going for level 33 for that huge boost. And
surely,
I think it's kind of a risky strategy, right? Because Angormus is only going to go for 31 for sure. I mean, unless he's extremely unhappy, he could find a level 33 shield. I think it's level 28 and then 33 for shields. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be that he's going to get so desperate that he's just gonna end up over leveling a little bit, knowing that he is competing against mercenaries. Because again, this is a class race, but obviously we're kind of thinking who's going to be first overall as well.
I mean, so far that has been the case. I mean, I'm very curious to see how that meta question gets answered of like how the defensiveness of Warrior plays out, whether they can get good enough gear to push through at 31 or even sooner versus 33 potentially for the crossbows. Like there's good defensive gear there. Oh, my God, it's getting a little bit low there. I think Merc pushing through it at underleveled will be quite shaky compared to Warrior, which can do so very safely. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd love to see. I love the risky plays. That 33 just seems like such a good break point for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Shekel Coach is really creeping up. He did spend a lot of time in that trial, and it does seem like he's so far away. But man, just look at the speed at which he's getting through these zones. It's so strong. There is kind of an issue. I'm not even. I don't think you're able to use Leap Slam in demon form. Are you? I'm not even sure, but there is a lot of leap slamming that you can do in Act 4 that saves you a lot of time, especially in areas like the prison. So I wonder if... I actually don't even know. Okay, in the prison, there's that water zone, okay? And you can get through cages with it. And also when you leap slam, you're jumping through the waves of water, and it doesn't slow you down. And I wonder if that's how it works with the demon form? Maybe. I mean, technically you're in the air when you're dashing, but
I'm pretty sure it cancels the other demon form, but it's so fast that it's probably worth it. But yeah, some zones like that are a big deal. So I wonder if we see some non-demon form leap slamming at some point to try and optimize it.
This is interesting.
Here we go. Guy that does grenades. He's pre-stacking. Giant explosion. Let's go. Baby explosions. Okay.
Baby explosion.
Give us some big damage. There we go. We'll get a little bit better.
Okay,
there we go.
Truly baby explosions. I mean, I was expecting more. This is a tricky fight. Yeah. You do kind of have to limit yourself because of that lightning resistance. He doesn't have any recovery. So unfortunate news for him. A big part of level 28 and why players start killing a lot more things is because you do end up hopefully getting access to leech, and I'm not seeing any leech here. So
No, yeah,
actually,
I
I don't
think
think
we're
so.
not seeing the full damage potential of the grenades here. Quite likely that guy that dies maybe doesn't have quite the weapon that we want to see at this point.
Yeah, but Ziggy, I gotta say, this is interesting. Level 28, he's killing the boss. Is he really going to be going for 33? There's going to be some pretty heavy penalties in Act
Surely,
3.
yeah. So it used to be that they would push for 28 here and then just do nothing else in Act 3.
Right.
But there's some good XP potential in Act 3, so surely they'd be taking advantage of that there before they go into Act 4, not just sprinting all the way through Act 3.
Yeah, I don't think I'm familiar enough with Mercenary speedrunning to really be able to tell. But this fight is looking kind of clean. Again, playing a little bit safe. 600 HP,
Yeah.
so significantly less than a warrior would have. I don't think you're able to quite tank the slam. Here it comes, and he dodges it. So yeah, on a warrior, you can actually stand
Nice.
in it. And it's not super costly. It takes a lot of damage from that sweeping attack, but still
They've done
stays alive. The stun comes out. The boss is at 50% freeze. He's not
really
going to need
good.
it. It goes down.
It was such a good, consistent application of grenades. There wasn't like a pause in there. Excellent DPS uptime, even if the kind of explosive burst wasn't maybe what it could be. I'll be keen to see if they do push for 33 and get that bombard, and we get to see that true explosive single target damage potential there for Act 4, especially will be very nice if we can see some of that. And
Ooh, and the announcement.
crafting.
Okay, the
Yeah.
announcements are on. I saw it on Shackle Coach. I think on Gormus has it turned off.
Oh, I see. Maybe not needing that. Not needing that in his mind.
He's competing. Yeah, he's only competing against himself, you know? He doesn't feel threatened by anybody else.
Well, he's
He
only had
knows.
himself to compete with for the most part, so
True.
the shell explosions are looking about like on par with the explosions of the grenades in terms of damage there.
You think? This looks so much faster to me.
Oh yeah, no, I think you're right. Maybe it is a little bit faster.
And
there's even less of a gap between them.
I'm not quite sure if he did the full swap. I don't think quite yet, which is a little... Well, it's not unusual, but I think he could have... Oh, damn, a lot of resistances. Damn, his gear kind of crazy.
He's doing some nice crafting here during the boss fight. Yeah, very good. Nice, I love it. Plenty of time there for a craft between the phases.
Man, I don't know. This is looking better.
Yeah, I think so
he
too.
He can face tank that ever so slightly more on a warrior.
That's what I'm saying. I think like the mercenary grenades has to show much bigger of a gap for it to be a strong contender in this last leg of the race coming up. Because they need to like to be winning boss fights by like 20 seconds or something. I think it's possible. Knowing what I know of grenade damage, I think it can happen. But he needs the weapon for it.
It's possible.
Yeah, that is just he didn't even have to move. That was just straight through that fight, not even worried about anything. Massive damage. Loving it.
This is a big deal for warrior, because you can just face tank so many things.
I've got some updates for you in the background there. So Guy That Dies, Drizzt, and Whole New Society are currently the top 3 contenders for Mercenary, and actually have been so close this whole time. I wish we could show you more of those folks, and next week we'll try and have that spectator tool so that we can jump around a lot more. But Guy That Dies currently, to our knowledge, is leading and has been just having an amazing race. But the Mercenary competition itself is very hot. Warriors, meanwhile, we've got Angormus leading the pack, of course, with Arco just behind they were about 4 minutes behind. We'll see kind of how that pans out as we move into the next act here. But Arco's been putting in a very good race there. Sorceress, which we haven't really had a chance to see, is being led by 3 Knife with 1 death, and Lightspeed Cake coming in second with also a death, and Malloy with also a death. So all of the sorceresses have died at some point. So they've kept it even. It's an even playing field. They've all died. So
oh wow, okay.
We'll get to see how some of the others are going and try and get an update on maybe on like witches and things like that as well, moving forwards as well when we can. But Shakan Coach, obviously, on screen.
Okay, bad news. I think Angormus already did his respecing prior to the boss fight, so that's about as good strong as we're going to be seeing it, and I don't think it's good enough. I mean, it might be good enough to win the race, but I don't think it's good enough to his previous runs. If I had to guess, I think his shield maybe has like 115 armor, something like that.
Yeah, we'll
And
try and keep an
honestly,
eye
in
on
some
it.
of the better runs, you can get upwards of 300. So he can very potentially find a shield that I would assume is close to being twice as good compared to what he's using here. So the tricky part is how much more are you going to be killing monsters, right? You're only looking to get level 31 for those level 9 gems, especially important on a warrior with some use of Act 4 support gems. They're going to be able to have 100% uptime on Fortifying Cry, which really helps out with some of those pesky boss encounters. But yeah, his clean is good enough, proccing that shield wall with either his war cry or his shield charge.
I love it. I
Depending
love the
on
shield charge through the
what's
wall.
more
It's so
efficient.
satisfying.
It looks cool, right? It's so
Yeah,
nice.
and animation canceling, of course, out of the end of the shield charge into the sprint as well, just makes it look like Warrior just looks like a runaway freight train, right? Just bursting through that wall and just maintaining that momentum the whole time is so juicy. I love it.
Here we go, Monkey
very
coming
satisfying.
up for Guy That Dies in the Jungle Ruins.
Yeah, I have heard tell that there will be monkey fights going on, so
For sure.
I love to see it.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing about Monkey, though, right? That every single player is able to dodge it perfectly and take 0 damage, but also every single player is able to die to it.
100%. You can easily never get hit by the monkey until that exact moment where you get flattened by them.
Yep.
Oh, and Gorm's
kinda...
eating a lot of lightning damage there from the Abyss Raz just there, throwing down some of those bearer bombs.
Very true.
A little bit concerning, slightly rattling. A bit respecting those Abyss Raz, right? That's some of the biggest threats in this race for them, but also some of the biggest payoff rewards to be chasing down. And we do see Angormus looks like pushing this full Abyss. I don't know if there's a particular guaranteed drop from this one. I'd say there must be. What have we got? Uncut Support Gem 3? That might be the one.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the XP is also super valuable at this stage. Again, they are trying to get, at the very least, 31. A shield? It's crap, Ziggy.
Oh, no.
I see movement speed boots, but I think they were too high level to use.
Oh, man, he just obliterated those rares, though.
Damn. That looked very good.
Satisfying. Yeah, that was like better than the grenades. Guy That Dies. Oh, Guy That Dies also tripping over in the forest. Quick reset to nothing. You didn't see anything. Nothing happened. It's fine. He's okay.
Oh, did he miss?
Yeah, that was a fast rare kill right there.
Yeah, true. I mean, those mobs aren't super tanky, but maybe I'm being a hater. Maybe Angurmus' shield is a lot better than I expect. It's kind of I gotta say, compared to his other runs, it is looking worse. Obviously, this being a marathon scenario, you're not going to be able to reset. I do see him focusing very heavily on gear. No shields on the vendor. Not a single one.
Looks like he's about a minute behind on his previous run attempts for his timer there. 1 minute 14 behind his live split times, which I believe his practice finishes were about that 2.5 hour mark, which he thinks he can do faster than. So we'll see if we can manage to pull that together in the Act 4 kind of segments. A lot of opportunity there for. It's going to be the least practiced race, and also it's the most sandbox. The least practiced part of the race, and it's also the most sandbox part. Co in the bottom right, having some concerning encounters here in the Dreadnought. Just rattling there. But it does manage to survive. Nicely done.
In the jungle, the monkey waits for Guy That Dies.
Monkey waits.
Where is it?
Oh, not there. Wrong checkpoint.
That's the vendor. He doesn't check it. I wonder if Angurmus is going to check that vendor. Oh man, Guy That Dies is really struggling with this layout. I wonder if he's looking to even skip the monkey. It doesn't look like he's kind of going on the outskirts, and whenever you're doing that, that means that you're trying to get past the monkey, as it does stand in front of the exit of the zone, like the annoyance that it is. But I wonder if that's what's happening here.
The mid-dodge roll crafting from Guy That Dies looking very good. He's got pretty good dodge roll, grenade toss. In some of the long linear zones, there's some kind of like movement tech for...
Here we go!
Here we go, monkey time. He checkpoints to get rid of the ads, I'm assuming. Is he going to go back for the monkey fight? Yeah, here he goes. He wants to just have a one-on-one, a proper duel with the monkey here. See how that burst damage is looking. Big chunks off the monkey. Oh, nice dodge on that slam there. Yeah, okay. Eats the edge of it. That one's nowhere near him, though. He's feeling pretty safe. There's a potential stun or just the kill coming up here. Slips out of the way. Oh, no! Oh, he survives it! He survives it just barely. Wafer thin. Oh, the slam. Low roll.
He got so lucky. He got so lucky. So
I thought he was dead. I did not see any
Angormus. I'll explain it in a second, but he got so lucky. It's crazy. Angormus is going for a similar strategy, trying to bop this monkey as much as the monkey is trying to bop him.
Still reflecting the slams, despite being a bit tankier. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, that stun is huge. Oh, the damage is insane. Ooh.
Okay, the stuns are pretty
kill. Good. Nicely done. He's nodding. He's like, yeah, I'm happy with that. That was very nice. That's what I want to see. Okay, all right. Let's digest that monkey fight from guy that dies there, though.
Okay, so
how about that?
There is a giant variance in the amount of damage that the monkey does. So sometimes you're going to get hit, and even with 624 HP, you're going to live. So there's two parts to it. Not only did he low roll extremely, he got super lucky, but also the other element of that is that there's two kind of hitboxes for that attack. So a lot of the times when you're trying to face tank the monkey, you're not face tanking, but you're staying close. You're running the risk of being able to get hit by two portions of the damage coming out from the monkey. So you're getting hit by like the initial slam and the wave that it releases. So if you're staying close, you're able to dodge a lot better and it's a lot more consistent. But if you get hit, you kind of die. But he got hit and he kind of didn't die. So really lucky from guy that dies because
his health wasn't even full too. Like it's actually even more insane than that. His health was like, he already had like 10% of his health missing or a bit more. So that was just an insanely lucky survival there. I shouldn't be alive. We do see RNG good typing from guy that dies in the chat there.
He knows.
I feel like acknowledging that monkey kill. Easy listening.
That was so lucky.
Oh,
I mean, skillful. That was crazy skillful. Meanwhile, Angormus, though, you can tell Gaida dies a little bit shaken up. He's falling behind. He is doing an abyss, but Angormus is already in the Chimera wetlands.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a nice fight on that Chimeral mini boss. I got to say, I without the level 33, I don't know how much I'm loving these crossbows. It really doesn't feel like the power that he should be getting of that slower early game start. It's just not kicking in.
Yeah, it's not quite the damage I was expecting to see. So I think it's possibly a bit of a low roll weapon and a bit of that gap before they get the one. A unique Azure Amulet going on there. There's the double exalted drops from that Abyss there, which I believe is the guaranteed one there. That crafting material could be what they need. Secure things. I'm going to be keeping an eye on their inventory as they start to look here. And also, I want to try and suss out what level they're both sitting at now as well. Maybe we can get a ladder update.
Oh my goodness. I looked at Shekel Coach's HP, 478. I mean, he's a little bit behind, but he's almost got half the HP of Angormus. I don't know. This is kind of sketchy.
Certainly a concerning amount of HP, especially considering that the Infernalist is not uncommonly walking around with half their health empty too. So.
Oh, and he's pre-potting so hard. Look, he's trying to stay topped off because he knows he's running the risk of getting one-shot, and he's got no flasks.
Yeah.
He's got energy shield, but the energy shield's making a big difference.
Not really coming back. It's taking a long time to come back there with that constant damage incoming. All right, he manages to get himself some flasks, get out of danger, and maybe transition back to Demon Fawn again soon. Hopefully, once they can fill that flask up a bit and secure things. Yeah, a little bit rough. It's such a high skill cap way of playing. I feel like the Infernalists, they've got a lot more to think about than the other classes. It's a big payoff for it, but it's hard work.
Yeah, guys, sorry. We're aware that somebody's in the Machinarium, but unfortunately for this event, we can't show them. We are having some technical issues here, so if they're not streaming, you're not able to see it.
That would have been Driz, because I believe they were pretty close to taking the lead. They were
guy that dies. He's going for the microtransaction purchase. Holy. After that big RNG, he was trying to get a little bit more of it. Praying to Jonathan, but
still has the hotkey bound for that one. Yes,
he
my
still has
classic
to
where
respawn
M
at
for map
checkpoints.
is actually microtransaction. Clever devs. Clever
Yeah.
devs. They're probably trying to open that map, but they're forgetting. The Zyclusian fight coming up for Angormus. With the damage we've seen, we should be seeing a pretty nice Zyclusian fight. But
Okay, this is
Angormus has an
nice.
axe to grind against this boss, because this boss has killed Angormus before with that Frost Breath. That was a very good first half. See if they can finish the kill while they're downed off of this tower. Certainly has the damage to bring that tower down. No worries. There it goes. Scrabbling in the ruins.
Stun
I think
into
they're going to get
stun.
back up. Oh, the stun. Yeah, the stun finishes it. That's nice. It's perfect. Could not hope for better than that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfection in boss fight form.
Yeah, but you can see Angormus is shaken up for sure. I mean, we were kind of... The times are very different. If you guys were watching the previous season of our race event, some players were even, I think, finishing Act 3 in like 1 hour and 40 minutes or something, but that was with Rake. We don't have stuff like that anymore, but we're still seeing an under 2-hour finish from the majority of our top players. Even if you do get 2 hours in a marathon setting, it is considered very good. I don't know if we're going to be seeing that from any of the players that we are able to show. Maybe Driz in the background will be able to get it. Oh my Shekel Coach, this is looking... It's so
This is
scary,
such a
I
tough
gotta
fight
say.
for this. Like, every time I've seen Infernalist in this fight, it's been like, man, you have to be managing those potions perfectly. Of course, dropping the Infernalist, dropping the demon form here for this ad phase. Hopefully refilling that flask up and getting themselves sorted for the next portion of the boss fight.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he misses the Bone Storm, or did he get... Oh, I think he did get it. He's pre-stacking it pretty heavily.
Bit of damage there behind the notifications.
He's excited. You can see him. He's taking a deep breath. Essence Drain falling off there towards the end of that, so he has to stay focused.
Let's see. He's got half his life flasks. With only 490 health, 170 shield. It's definitely not the most secure Infernalist jump and rough fight we've seen.
Boy, early dodge. Okay, that looked a little scary there on that slam. He's not a warrior. I don't think he's going to be able to tank it, even with the energy shield. His HP,
just out of range of that one.
It's just getting concerning. So low.
I like that. That was a good, clean charge up into the dodge there, but eating a bit more chip damage than you'd like. I think the boss has gone down faster than they are, though.
Yeah, true. I think he's got... Oh, no mana. Oh, okay. He just gets a charge there on the mana flask. But it was looking a little bit sketchy there. Maybe overpotting a little bit. No more life flasks for Shekel Coach, but the boss is low. He doesn't have a life flask either.
Oh, yeah, surely can secure that one there. Very nicely done.
Okay, why is his chat so big? Look at that. His chat is gigantical. I mean, it's behind the camera, but it's so big. What's happening here? Is there an extra strategy there? Maybe he's looking at the chat whenever there's some kind of...
Maybe easy reads on the
Well, there is a lot of tech that you have to listen to as an indicator for boss attacks.
Signaling. Yeah.
I mean, there's also interesting tech for the zone that Angormus and Guided Dies is in. You have to collect the soul cores, and you can actually hear them drop off screen. So very frequently, you're going to have players either lower their music or really pay attention if they're streaming. You can hear them not talk nearly as much as they're trying to listen for those voice cues, for those sound cues. And Angormus manages to find the exit perfectly. Guided Dies going for the big skip you can get around that huge blockage, saving himself a lot of time. I'm not quite sure if he has the soul core yet.
So with all three of our mercenaries being level 32, it seems that the push to level 33 is inevitable, because otherwise you'd just be sitting at level 31 and not leveling anymore. So that extra crossbow pickup is going to be crucial. So we might well see a huge burst of extra damage there once they do hit that level. And Angormus is level 31. Does it look like they're still leveling or not, though? It looks like they... Angormus might well still be leveling for that 33. It's not as important for the warrior.
No.
But if you can get that better defensive gear, that is not going to hurt you.
Nah, he's 31. I don't think that's going to be moving, really. There is Driz, who is rank 1 on the ladder, slightly ahead of Guy That Dies on the Mercenary. Whole New Society also ahead on the Mercenary in terms of XP, but we are not quite able to check their progression. A little bit of cool tech that we've talked about in previous races for the zone that are... Angormus is... Oh no, Guy That Dies, look. Did he have to respawn a checkpoint, or did he just not find the core? What's happening? Some big hiccup happened for him. I don't think it's due to the Abyss, as he skipped it. A misread,
no
maybe.
there.
Yeah, he didn't have a soul core. Oh, wow.
Yep, we had to go back for the soul core. That's a little rough sometimes. It can be a little hard to track down.
Yeah, that is difficult for Jikuani Sanctum that Angormus is in. Some players will have different strategies. If you don't end up finding the soul core, what you're going to do is you're going to clear around the checkpoint a little bit, or not clear, but just reveal the area. And then you're going to be respawning between two different checkpoints as it essentially resets the layout in that way, respawning the mobs, but also repositioning the quest item. And fortunately, he doesn't have to go for it here, but he still needs, I believe, the second soul core. So
I'd also like to note Angormus actually just has both medium cores ready to go
before
even getting to the other side. He's already got it. Like he got just a clean run through. That was beautiful. It's like,
yeah, that's
ideal perfection run through Jacani's here for Angormus. Gotta love that. No time lost in here at all. Usually we do see the players kind of digging around, doing some reset at checkpoints to try and get those soul cores to respawn in more favorable positions, which we might well see Guy That Dies do here, is checking around the area, because that's generally, you can see it from there. We might see some checkpoint resets maybe if they can't find one. Looks like they're going to head to the other side and hopefully get one on the way there and then be able to just port back. Meanwhile, Angormus on ZIGGYD with some huge damage. It's looking really good here.
too.
Yeah.
Those pops are nice.
Broken.
The shockwave
big
totem
damage coming down. Yep. Mate, that is just so much damage. Oh my lord.
Oh, he got it really. That would have... Okay, was it Angormus? Was it Angormus that died to this previously?
Yeah, maybe.
I think so.
Maybe.
That attack totally one-shots you if you stand in it. So I think it was Angormus that died to it previously, but I'm not 100%. We've definitely seen it. So you do have to respect this boss a little bit. And this is going to be something beautiful that you guys are about to witness. Because Angormus doesn't have to XP. He is level 31. You can see him skipping all the mobs. You're going to see some expert use of Leap Slam to get around this waterway zone. And you're also going to see our favorite upcoming #1 checkpoint skip that saves you so much time. You guys have no idea. It's crazy.
I thought you were going to say the lever skip, the map skip. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
skip.
that is what I'm talking about. It saves you like 1 second. It's crazy.
Okay, because there is an actual checkpoint skip in here. I thought you were talking about where you can, in some layouts, you can kind of like 20% of the zone, I think.
Oh,
with a checkpoint, and then you leap down to the low ground. Yeah.
No, I was talking about the big skip.
Down. Oh yeah, you're talking about the map skip. My favorite, of course. Yes.
Of course, naturally. Oh, Monkey for Shackle Coach. He has to stay a little bit ranged. Almost jumps into that slam.
Woo.
Monkey spinning. Shackle Coach is shooting.
Oh, that's Monkey. Stun. Nice.
Stun.
Right before the slam. Nice. Yeah, juicy. First damage spells. They actually get some stuns.
He's dodging a lot. He's really respecting this boss. Uh-oh.
Being maybe a little bit overly nervous there potentially, but gets the kill with no issues. Very nicely done. Guy That Dies moving on to the ZIGGYD fight. And how's that damage looking?
It's good.
That damage is looking better. Yeah. Looking at the crossbow, that doesn't look like a bombard crossbow, so they don't yet have a bombard crossbow. They would have only just hit 33, so they haven't really had a chance to dig for one from the vendors or anything. But that was pretty good. So if we see a damage increase from there, then that might be what they need to make a bit of a comeback. After leading ahead of Angormus for so long, Angormus has now obviously overtaken Guy That Dies. But we do have another mercenary, Driz, who did enter the waterways just a little bit ahead of Angormus. So there's some spicy competition for overall first there, but Angormus, of course, secure in first for Warrior at the moment. No issues there. But the mercenary competition is insane. I do wish we could watch all of the mercenaries at the same time.
Yeah, look at that. Guy That Dies with the weapon swap. He's already ready to do some leap slamming despite being a crossbow character. But man, his mobility looks so much slower. I don't think it's a matter of access to attack speed, but it kind of compared to the way that Angormus moves, it kind of looks like Guy That Dies is in molasses or something. It's really noticeably slower, and he's also killing monsters, so he's not quite level 33. There are 2 bombarding crossbows in his inventory that he's waiting to equip in about half a level.
Oh, great. He's already got them ready to go then. Hopefully one of them is decently well rolled. But there's some pretty interesting and nuanced movement that has to be done for Mercenary. It's quite challenging from what I've been told, which, a bit of damage there, where you have to do the grenade into dodge roll into sprint, into another grenade to cancel the sprint into the dodge rolls. And it's difficult to do outside of really linear zones, but it can be very fast when pulled off whilst maintaining full clear speed. You can kill everything whilst basically running at a sprint the entire time. But it is challenging to do whilst also navigating monsters and corners and things, and very difficult in zones like this that are much tighter. So that's why I kind of it ends up looking a bit slower, because they're basically constant dodge rolling, grenading the whole time, rather than kind of getting any chance to focus just on movement.
Absolutely. And we see that Shackle Coach already, with the power of the witch, caught up to Arco, who isn't a warrior. They're both in the Chimera Woods. Man, I gotta say, this witch is looking strong. I don't know if it's Shackle Coach just putting that much more work than other players, but the witch is looking nice.
Yeah. For sure. They work hard for it.
I do have to say also, it really shows, as much as we were talking about how Guy That Dies started practicing later than Angormus has, who's been pretty much practicing since day 1 of PoE2 early access. Yes. You can definitely tell that Angormus has more experience in Act 3. There is a noticeable difference. It could be due to the fact that Mercenary is kind of new in the way that you play it. It's familiar, but it is new. So our players are still adapting. They're still learning. But I think overall, you can tell that Angormus just ran Act 3 so much more, as there is the...
He didn't place the portal.
Oh, did he do it? He did it on purpose. I saw that little smirk he did. He did it to us.
God, you did this. You did this for me, didn't you?
He didn't do the skip. He did it on... I'm telling you, he did it on purpose. This guy's
I reckon troll. So. Crafting?
Okay, that shit was terrible.
That's unfortunate. That's just not what you want.
Fire res? Okay. He renders both of them! Oh, the chess piece is nice.
No, he swapped. He's got the move speed bits on. It's okay.
Oh, okay. I thought you vendored it. Wait, did he not vendor it? Okay.
You can always buy back.
It's true.
We've got some respecking here now as well. Swapping over to the weapon swap trees.
Yeah, there's a significant amount of respecking that you have to do on a warrior. There's also a lot of weapon swap points that you have to pay attention to later on.
Vendors the Lycos today. Oh man.
Oh my god. Is that shield cannot be okay, I knew it. His shield is trash.
139 was
139 armor. That is horrible. You can get 300 on 250 is kind of average, is what people are thinking. So his shield is not even close.
His new one is 150 without quality or sockets, but
it's pretty bad. You can get 300 here pretty consistently. So quite tragic for Angormus. I knew it. Okay, I wasn't being a hater. I knew his shield was being wonky. Bad RNG.
Okay. I think it looked like it got to 190-ish or something after crafting there. Must have been a bit close to that point.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not too shabby, but certainly could be better. But just in case, for those of you watching, if you haven't played the shield stuff, the shield skills deal damage based on their amount of armor. We've obviously been kind of dancing around that fact, but that is how they get the damage. So it becomes much more important than the weapons. Potentially even the weapon, like the one-hand weapon, might just be something like plus gems or something, if possible. Would be ideal to scale up the shield slam skill itself, but otherwise taking advantage of those leap slams, and now most of that damage will be coming from the shield wall, not needing to do any sort of perfect strikes or anything like that at this point, but there is some nice war cry and totems to assist with the shield slamming to round out that very nice damage output that we get to see from the shield walls now.
Guy That Dies is still in the waterways. He is level 33 now, but He does seem to have one of the crossbows on. Ooh, I think it looks pretty. I think I saw double fizz. I'm not quite sure about the rolls, but I definitely saw flat, and it kind of looked like a hybrid percent fizz rolls. But yeah, let's see what sort of single target Angarmus is going to be able to put out with his new shield, as he is getting dangerously close to
It'll
one
be
of
like
Path of
almost
Exile
double the
2's.
damage he had from the previous amount of
Right,
armor that he
yeah.
had. Maybe like a
It's a big
50%
deal.
boost or something. Yeah.
It's really a big deal. And again, keep in mind, guys, that even though we're not quite able to show you guys this for this race in particular, apparently Driz is ahead of Guy That Dies and Adgormus at this stage. And
Yeah,
also
he's
Whole New
level
Society,
34.
who's...
He entered Waterways 1.5 minutes before, so unless we see some nice catching up from Angormus here, Driz is currently in the lead for the overall win. But there's still a lot of race left for that to even out. Let's see. Queen of Filth for Angormus. Can be a little scary.
Yeah, it's
Damage
kind of an odd boss.
That's the stun.
It's scary for a casual playthrough, but for a warrior, it's quite consistent. Other than standing in vulnerability and taking a big double slam, I don't think he's going to be dying here. It's mostly about how much damage he's able to put out. He is standing in those temporal bubble, but he does manage to get it.
Nice. Good clean kill there. Didn't even really have to move. Even if the temporal chains feels like moving through molasses. He's got that kill down nice and fast. I'll be curious to see how the bombard damage compares now. That'll be our first kind of real comparison point for the properly outfitted mercenaries. Assuming they've got a decent bombard crossbow together. We do know that Driz is probably cooking pretty nicely in the background, but Guy That Dies will have to be our metric for that one.
Yeah, Guy That Dies still a fair way away. Yeah, you can see how much Angormus is just trying. Oh, he's gambling. Oh, he gambled for a ring. Ooh.
Sold the Chaos
That
Rose.
was all of his money.
Yep, everything. Got nothing for it. Counts gambling, I suppose. So that's called gambling.
Man, I can't see what the shield is.
Guy That Dies
He's too quick.
Sprinted through the entire zone, didn't stop to drop a single grenade, so is completely done leveling at this point now that they've got their crossbow. So we'll only see the grenading when absolutely necessary, which...
Ooh, lucky for Angormus. So the first layer of Temple of Kopek is random, so it can be in either one of those corners. The second one, the fissure in the ground that he just jumped over, tells you where the next floor is. So this one, no RNG, perfect read from Angormus. He finds the exit, but still getting that first zone on the first try was really quite nice. And this is also an interesting boss. You do need a little bit of fire resistance for it.
This boss can move around and be very difficult, and Perfect Strike warriors have historically struggled with Ketsuli. It's a very difficult fight for them, but the shield slams should be a little bit easier, a bit more forgiving, I imagine. There's quite a bit of range on those.
Oh, what a
compared
stun.
to the yeah, that's good. Didn't even get a chance to do the backwards and forwards dashes. Ketsuli just getting absolutely dominated there. Very clean.
Yeah, this boss is interesting because not a lot of players realize that the amount of dashes that he performs. He would have died.
The entire roll, getting body pushed that whole way through. Oh no.
He so would have died there. He would have been Omega dead.
It was a good reset. Thankfully, at the start of the boss fight, pre-placing those grenades there, trying to get that timing down. A little bit early on some of those ones, but does get a second wave off. That detonate just at the right moment there.
Oh my.
That's much better, Queen of Filth. Ooh, that damage! There we go. Now we're seeing that grenade damage.
Yeah.
Oh, that is certainly a good chunk faster than the shield walls there. Oh,
yeah. And it's an iron ring as well. Wait, which one's that? That looked useful. I mean, he needs resistances at this stage, but maybe he's going to be able to squeeze some more damage in. I mean, there are some bosses that are primarily physical, so maybe, I mean, that, with the legend of the Tabulast, you kind of don't want to start utilizing and doing things that you haven't practiced.
Good heavens. That was a Blackheart Iron Ring, I believe. It had the purple on it, so I'm pretty sure Blackheart's pretty good. It's good. Yeah. Good little added damage and Intimidate for the increased damage taken, but no resistances or defenses on it whatsoever. So If that's the main thing they're concerned about, then it could be used for a boss swap DPS if you're not worried about resist potentially. I don't think there's any other purple ones that could have been. Yeah, it would have been Original Sin, that's for sure. Okay, yeah, I think that's the one.
Viper coming up for Angormus. And you can see is dragging around this chess piece. The reason for that is that it has a 5% movement speed penalty. So whenever he has a little bit of space where he doesn't have to do anything, he's just running around, he's going to be picking up the chess piece and holding on his cursor and using either WSD, or if he's using the mouse controls, he's going to be having to use a move-only keybind.
All right, just before the Viper fight, I'm getting some very exciting updates. Driz, who is the other mercenary that's in the lead right now, is neck and neck with Angormus. Driz took, what was it? 10,
I saw it.
10 seconds on the boss fight.
Angormus was checking his friends list too. He knows.
Yeah, Angormus took 22 seconds. So Driz exited after killing the boss 20 seconds after Angormus. So close, but Driz is getting the faster boss kills on that mercenary grenade action. And yet, look at the speed of this Viper fight right here. She's going down so fast.
He didn't skip the immunity phase, so he's going to have to be dodging here. It is pretty simple to do. I wonder if the grenades can
manage that. That's crazy. We're going to try and get a constant stream of updates from the devs in the background about how Driz is shaping up on the mercenary, because they are so close with Angormus right now. And Viper is proven to be
second immunity phase.
Oh no!
I almost had the stun.
Viper has been such a challenging fight with many deaths, many running out of potions, long fights, immunity phases. She is a tough boss to crack, but this damage is so fast that they are just speeding through these encounters with Viper. That is insane, even with the 2 flotation phases.
Yep.
Wild.
Nicely done. Got a dice. Continuing, attempting to catch up, but falling further and further behind. And I do wonder if it does boil down to layout reading. Angormus has been practicing some of these zones quite a lot. From the looks of it, he is skipping the big monsters that drop the heart for 2 additional skill points, so not something he's going to be going for. Quite a lot of RNG. I think the average on that heart drop in terms of like how much time you're needing to spend in a speed run to get those 2 extra skill points is about 2 minutes. So extremely significant. It seems like something that you don't have to put a lot of work into, but quite consistently from the testing that other players have done. It does take quite a while. Decent chess piece there. Double resist. Still trying to craft some gear. Not a lot of HP for Angormus. 810. Could be better, but it could be worse. You could be a guy that dies with only 716. And it could be even worse than that.
Oh, stumble from Angormus. Not enough monsters there to punish him too bad. So he does wait for the stand back up. Dodge rolling out of the way to change direction. But
and I'm pretty sure that just said that he was the first person to enter Agorat. So I think Angormus is in the lead ever so slightly. And now both the mercenaries and the warriors are going to be skipping all the enemies. Angormus getting locked in there, having to kill a little bit. Oh, he's actually going for the big mob kill. Interesting. So he was skipping them in the first zone, but here he's trying to get the heart. But nah, it's not going to be successful. He's getting the check. I mean, it still might be. He has the checkpoint. He's getting close to the exit. I don't think he's going to be going back for it. No big enemies. There's one back there, and he doesn't go for it. So
I think
did take that little risk.
Viper's a fight that the grenades can't punish quite as hard. She's small, she's mobile. It makes it a lot harder to land those grenades. So if we saw Angormus take a slight lead there, despite Driz getting the faster kills on the bosses, it might well be that it's a faster fight for the warrior ultimately. And from looking at Guy That Dies' Viper fight here, I can see that being the case depending on luck with the phases. But he's got the phase where he can actually deal damage to Viper here, so that is helpful.
That is extremely helpful. A lot of dodging going on. It's hard to do damage here, but it's better than invulnerability. And he's going to take it down significantly faster than Angormus did. And it's kind of interesting also when it comes to Viper. Not a lot of players know this, but her first attack is dependent on where you stand. If you stand close to melee, she does the combo attack. If you stand away, she's going to do the lunge. So something that you can do is position yourself correctly and then pre-stack those grenades, and it's going to result in a lot of damage. And through that, Guy That Dies has a much cleaner fight with only one invincibility phase. Nicely done.
What's really crazy here is that Angormus killed Viper in 58 seconds, while Drizzt killed them in 24 seconds, so much faster. And yet, Drizzt still entered Agarat 30 seconds later. So it seems that Angormus's practice and zone reads and layout movement and traversal is all faster, and they're still Angormus is still maintaining a lead, just ever so slightly over Drizzt, despite a huge difference in boss killing.
That's Act 3. We're heading over to Act 4. This is new content. No matter what, if everybody's been practicing it since day one, they've had the same amount of time that they spent practicing it. So I really wonder what's going to happen here. As Angormus doing his phase 1 Doriani now. He's going to be skipping the... Oh, no, he's not. Never mind. I jinxed him. Cast a curse.
All right. I don't think we've seen a laser phase skip yet. The coveted laser phase. Look, no.
His shield's just not good enough. If it was, he totally would have skipped it, but now he has to wait for the animation of those lasers to continue to progress to the next phase. And it does end up costing him quite a significant amount of time. Interesting helmet.
The coveted thing, though. Bit of a mess of stats on that thing.
He's looking at Drizzt. Yeah. He knows. So you guys remember how we were saying that Angormus only really plays against himself and nobody was able to stand up to him, so he didn't need to check his friends list? He's checking his friends list. He's being slow. If you remember, we were talking about how some players were getting pretty consistent times of 158 finish in Act 3. We're at 2 hours and almost 10 minutes. This is an unusually slow time. Not just for a lot of other players, but especially for Angormus, who's now battling Doriani, nicely positioned. He's gonna have to wait for it. This is so unlucky. Angormus is really not having a great run. He's still really close to winning. He is currently in the lead, but by such a small margin, it really might boil down to who's not gonna die to either Benedictus or the final boss.
Angormus gets it first, which is impressive. It looks like Angormus is about 30 seconds faster entering the zone, which was just enough to get that kill a little bit ahead. We might get an update on Drizz's kill timing there, because I assume it's going to be faster based on how the boss fights have been going. It's probably going to be substantially faster, which is really just keeping the heat on Angormus there. But we do move into Act 4 for the first ever time in Path of Exile 2 history. Act 4 speedrunning racing here. And I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's already in the first zone, there's a ROG skip. So what you can do is you can get the chart and not wait for ROG to finish his walking animation. You will permanently lose ROG, by the way. You will not have access to him in Act 4 anymore. But you can do it if you want to. And for this speedrun, I'm sure that's what's going to be happening.
Brutal. I could never do that for ROG. Poor ROG. That was some very nice opening damage. We might have to keep both screens, though, if we're going to be starting Act 4 and seeing ROG skips. Here we go. Let's have a look. Take the boat charter. He's off. He's out of there.
He's out.
See you,
no more ROG.
Bye, ROG. Poor ROG. I can't.
NPCs are getting so disrespected in these speedruns, but even in regular playthroughs, that there's even an NPC in Act 4 that's just like, oh yeah? You're really going to leave in the middle of my sentence? It's a pretty funny theme. Spoiler alert, that guy dies. So it's a good one. Hopefully Angormus is going to highlight it. I know he's really a big fan of that death scene.
So Act 4 is like got so much extra content in it and is so like open to the order in which you do things. Do you think players are going to be doing things in roughly the same order, or is there going to be like a bit of variance here?
Yeah, I do believe so. There is a little bit of variance. It's mostly dependent on your drops. So generally what you want to be doing is Shrike Island first, Abandoned Prison, and then Whakapanu, and then Arastas, and the final zone. And the reason why... Oh, interesting! Okay, so I'm not quite sure. I don't think Angormus went for Shrike Island. Instead, he went for Whakapanu Island, and this way he's able to find the crab, and the crab actually gives you a guaranteed, I believe, level 4 support gem. Yes. So the other way that you can get this is by doing the Abyss on Shrike Island, but when that happens, you're running the risk of having a second Abyss. And if that happens, finding the second Abyss can be really tricky. And typically, the backup strategy is to then look for the crab in Whakapanu Island. But Angormus decides to go for the marathon strategy, and in a layout that he's able to read a lot better, which is this zone that he's in right now. He finds the crab. Now he's going to look for the mermaid. And what's important here is that he makes an instance with the mermaid, and then he's most likely going to later on switching over to abandoned prison, which will then allow both the abandoned prison and the mermaid zone to be one level lower, which gives them 3% easier boss killing. So a whole lot of yapment for some pretty important tech.
Yeah, there's it's already such a complicated act, and then with the ability to with the levels being variant between each zone, they can do things in specific orders, open zones or not open zones, to increase the level of them as well.
Yeah.
So the complexity of this act in terms of racing and speedrun is going to be absolutely nuts. We did see Enraged Warcry for the support gem from Angormus there, which lets them bypass the cooldown, with that Warcry spam being essential for the shield wall explosions.
Yeah, the Fortifying Cry 100% uptime is the primary reason why you would do this. And it's also the reason why you want to do this first, because every single boss going forward from now is going to be just down much faster. And Gorm is still kind of struggling a little bit to get out of this zone. But there's also even more when it comes to the order of these zones. The main reason why players are doing the prison and the mermaid first is because both of them deal cold damage, and this allows you to kind of front load a lot of your cold res gear usage, and then later on you can get rid of it. There is an attack in the Act 4 boss that can freeze you, and you will die if it happens, but our players tend to dodge that one pretty nicely. But if you do end up getting hit, most of our gamers are not going to have a whole lot of cold resistance. And I do believe that Angormus is not even going for any of the skips. He's not skipping anything.
Angormus respectfully looking there, glimpsing the boss as he zooms in. We're doing to go into the Diamora fight for Angormus, and we have not had a death for any of the top contenders here. And I just have to say, a 2.5 minute death penalty death right now would be brutal. So with all these new bosses in Act 4, we'll see. But I know Angormus is feeling very safe with all that shield action on the warrior being very tanky. Let's have a look here.
Funny fact, you would think that this gaze that she expels, I'm not even sure what the word is, would petrify you or something like that, but it actually is just the increased damage taken debuff. And so you can just kind of stand in it and, pay attention to the beautiful environments of Path of Exile too.
100% a tactical zoom in here. He's just making sure that he knows exactly which way the boss is facing, okay? Look, it's a good thing that the gaze effect doesn't affect us as the viewers. His player character is not facing the boss, you'll notice, so as to not stack that debuff. But we are taking full stacks of that debuff right now.
True. I am fully debuffed indeed. Even the mods in the chat are debuffed. Yes. I'm looking at the Discord production. Keep it in check. What's happening here? This is a professional cast.
The devs are covering their eyes right now. Good heavens.
My goodness. But yeah, this damage, I mean, as much as it's looking great, it really should be so... Oh my goodness. He has another phase. He's going for the double lookage. Is this tactical, or is this a matter of a bad shield? It was a little bit more explicit than anticipated. Even Angormus got freaked out and turned it off. Guys, this is taking too long. Where's Guy that dies? Is he catching up?
Yeah, can we get a comparison?
Oh yeah, he's looking.
Hey, I've had a chance to catch up here.
What's wrong with these guys?
Come on, settle down, you lot. Come on, let's focus on the mechanics here. Have a nice clean race, fellas.
Guys, you could be micromanaging your inventory right now. Keep your priorities straight.
Oh god, the comedic timing of that, cutting out to the zoom in. Oh, come on. I'm trying to have a serious commentary here. All right, we do have a lot of immunity phases here for Angormus to fight down. Do you know if these can be kind of like skipped with an efficient boss kill, a bit of RNG maybe?
If you do a lot of damage, you can definitely skip it. Yeah, I mean, again, the shield is really what Angormus has been struggling with this entire run. But if anybody's practiced with slightly worse gear than anticipated, it is him. So he's still doing an expertly job here, as he will now be going over to the prison. So yeah, interesting. He did go for the crab, and he's going to be doing Strike Island later, which is kind of interesting on top of the fact that there's a lot of things that you can optimize in the abandoned prison, but you kind of want to do Strike Island first in some cases, because the boss can be a little bit tricky. This upcoming prison boss, the prisoner, is not that crazy, but I have seen him do some weird, buggy stuff with some of the ballista transitions that our players are going to have to deal with.
With the sandbox nature of this, Driz actually chose to go to the abandoned prison first and has killed the boss there around the same time as Angormus and Guy That Dies got the boss kill in Whakapanu Island there. So we're seeing kind of like a bit of a tie for progression, but different zone progression strategies. So we're seeing a bit of a divergence there already.
Yeah, the big part is that the Mercenary doesn't need that support gem, right? So they can allow themselves to have those bosses be a little bit easier and also do it in an order that's potentially a little bit more marathon safe. Angormus taking some more risks for sure. But that being said, Guy That Dies had significant enough damage to skip the second ad phase, and that allowed him to catch up quite noticeably here.
Yeah, that's right. While Angormus was kind of like slowly working their way through multiple zoom-in phases, Guy That Dies only had the one during that fight, and that has really evened things up for them. Angormus just entered part 2 of the abandoned prison first, getting swept along by some waves there, using it for a little speed boost.
Yeah, so solitary confinement, you can see whenever you're slowed down like that, you can actually leap slam over it, and that allows you to skip that slowing animation. But on top of it, depending on the layout, similar to speedrunning in Act 4 in PoE 1, there are some dead ends that you can skip over with leap slam. I'm not quite sure if we're going to be seeing it here. Oh, there it is, right? You see it's a dead end? You just jump over it. No problem.
Nice.
So it's the same thing that you can do in PoE 1, and it's super effective for a speedrun. Saves you a lot of time. Perfect read also from Angormus, heading over to the prisoner, which is, again, also kind of a interesting fight. A little bit of cold damage, primarily physical, but you're going to see some extra positioning that Angormus is going to commit to allow him to use those ballistas as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, still struggling to get out a little bit. There you go. Finally, he finds it. Gets that little bit of a dead end.
Yeah, nice. They've had so little time to map out these new zones, right? Like, it's only the collaborative nature of the community kind of working together that's allowed them to like just have such clean reads on all of these new zones here like this.
100%. And this is another big thing. You can actually skip this water that slows you down noticeably with the leap slam, so you don't have to do any respawn off checkpoint skips. And everybody's got their favorite ballista. Which one is Angormus's? It looks like it's the bottom right. Yep, slowly inching towards it.
Yes, the boss helping the matter by pushing them towards the ballista where they want to be anyway. Positioning on that exact side.
Yeah, it's because he's blocking, right? He's constantly trying to block himself. That's why he's not really taking any damage here, despite the boss attempting to fight back as much as possible. But with that shield usage, the survivability really makes a big difference here with the warrior shield setup.
Ballista just immediately popped at the perfect time there. Keeping the boss on top of the ballista as well. As that stun and that damage. We might be seeing Guy That Dies getting into the boss now as well. So we might want to zoom in for that. Yep, there we go. Oh.
Did Angormus get the bug? No, okay.
No, I think he's okay. He's okay.
There's a little bit of a bug with the stun.
Oh, we are seeing a faster kill for Guy That Dies, though. He is catching up. He got to the boss quite a bit later, but there is a catch-up occurring here. Angormus gets the kill. A very clean kill ultimately, but the burst damage from Guy That Dies looking like a little bit spicier there. Look at that. He was, I think, slow rolling there. Just to be a little careful.
The big part of why you want to be moving the boss over to the ballista is also the projectile speed of the ballista. The closer that it is, the less recovery time the boss is going to have. So A little bit
That's
of
an
room to
optimization.
optimize that there. Yeah.
I like it.
Here we go.
The travel
Strike
speed of the
Islands.
ballista bolt is not fast enough for these speedrunners.
Yeah, it takes 0.001 seconds. It's not fair. Too long.
I know this is commonly known for people who've been in the racing community for a long time, but for those of you newly joined, I did see some questions in the chat. Why is Engormus constantly removing their chest? Chest armors have a movement speed penalty higher for the armor-based ones, especially. So for the warrior, taking off that armor chest piece while they're just running around allows them to increase that movement speed. And it's even more important now that the racers are relying more on sprint, which is affected by movement speed, unlike, say, leap slam. Which was being used more in the past for traversal, but now there's a lot more running going on. So running around bare-chested is just a little bit faster. There's a 5% movement speed penalty there.
Yeah, and keep in mind also that this is extremely tricky as Angormus is going through the abyss, because they are Angormus especially. He's in the level 47 zone, and he is level 31, so 16 levels below the zone level, which makes it so tricky when you're having to take off that chest piece for a bit of movement speed. But this is the degree of optimization that our players had to get to stay on top of the racing meta. And it's also something that PoE1 players would be pretty familiar with. This is a kind of a tricky layout. Strike Island does tend to have a big variance in the zone length. Even if you have a perfect read, you can take a much longer time compared to some other layouts. But Angormus, I believe, is having a... Actually, I think he's having kind of a rough zone. It is taking him quite a lot.
Thankfully, these races are fixed seed, which means everyone has the same layout, so it's as fair as can be. And it's just completely on the racers to identify what that layout is and how to best approach it for their character, where to make skips and things like that. But
look, guy that dies with some interesting... A guy that dies goes for an interesting skip, ends up getting a little bit of a dead end, jumps down, and then has to track back.
Oh, Angormus going surprisingly low against Scourge of Skies there.
This is a hard boss. You're
no way!
No! So he goes for the face tanking, but he fails to block with the shield. A little bit of bad RNG and a whole lot more of unfortunate play, and Angormus goes down 2.5 minutes death timer, guys. That's a lot of time.
Such a big upset here, and I just know that, like, for almost everything through this, was so confident in the tankiness of Warrior 2. So maybe just pushing it a little bit too far there.
Kind of dies, catches up immediately. But this is what I was talking about. This boss is hard. This is why a lot of people do it first, because that 3% might just end up making all the difference. It is kind of rough when it comes to speedrunning, because you're trying to face tank as much as possible to save yourself time, but every now and then it catches up with you, and it definitely did with Angormus. You can see guy that dies dodging just about everything. He's not doing any face tanking. No shield for this player. He leaves the Plagueling. Oh no, the poor baby.
Doesn't even finish it off.
He left it. He didn't kill.
By itself. He raised an orphan.
Broke my heart even more than Angormus dying.
Ooh, okay. We're going to try and get some updates in the background for people who have gone in different directions and things like that as well. Try and kind of find out where the leader is on each, who is streaming that we're able to check in on. But we do see Arco, the second place warrior, getting a decent chance to catch up on Angormus here. Maybe to start applying some pressure for the class. I still think Angormus has a decent shot here of maintaining the #1 overall warrior, but #1 overall for this race across all classes is between Driz and Guy That Dies right now.
You say that, but we still have the most difficult boss of probably the entire run coming up, and that's going to be Benedictus.
Yes.
So a lot of players die to that boss. There is quite a lot of RNG when it comes to it too, because that zone, the excavation, has guaranteed shrine spawns with checkpoints. So if you get a really good shrine, you can always go back to the checkpoint, pick up the shrine, and have it available for the boss fight. So that's going to be something that's going to be helping our players quite a lot, as Angormus finally able to play, and he's going to be restarting his fight, hopefully with a little bit
back in it,
more defensive approach.
Yeah, he's
Or is
got
it?
some very nice damage. Just needs to not be eating those giant pecs. Those are just doing so much damage there. Even through the layers of defense here between block and the armor and the extra buffs from the war cries too.
He kills the baby. Good job. Love
Just
to see it.
incidentally. He's being definitely a lot more cautious now. I'm seeing a lot more preventative dodge rolling.
This is the attack that takes down a lot of players, and Gorm is going for the face tag. He's locked in.
No. He's stuck. He's stuck. Oh, he sees it through.
He saved it.
What a
he
hero.
Saved it.
Oh my lord. Nerves of steel there.
Every other player would have respawned at checkpoint, but not on Gorm. With the amount of practice he's put in, that was clean. Okay, I mean, it was scary, but he was fully in control.
Wow. He's like, he must have just saying, okay, it's ending. It was a split-second decision, too. It didn't even take a second to consider. He's just like, okay, it's ending. No, I can do this. Right away.
Meanwhile, God That Dies gets through his zone, and he goes for the guaranteed Exalted Orb drops from that bell in Arastas, if you guys didn't know.
Arco. Arco was going down there as well, too, in Strike Island. I did not see where he went down, but he's back at a checkpoint here. So I don't know if he reset a checkpoint as he died or something.
I think he was going for the Abyss, probably. If I had to guess. Wait, what happened? A guy that dies had to reset because of fucking bug, is what he's saying. But what happened? He picked up the bell, which gives him the Exalted Orbs. Those are guaranteed. He gets Exalted Orbs and he gets Regals. And then it looked like he had to reset.
Oh man, yeah. Some issue. Came back a decent ways there.
Oh man, that's a huge time loss. That's extremely unfortunate.
Thankfully, he's able to checkpoint to catch up all that extra terrain there, so he doesn't have to rerun the entire zone. Very helpful. Yeah, there's lots of guaranteed currency in this zone from those bells, some regals and some exalts and things like that, for some potential last-minute crafting there, which could be big for Angormus for a shield if he's got an extra base or something like that. Angormus has incidentally hit level 33 as he's been progressing, just slowly kind of XPing up. I don't know if he plans on taking advantage of it, because that will take time to do, to actually get the gear and craft it and kind of take advantage of those extra levels. It might just be kind of, no, I'll just keep going with what I've got. And his gear is okay. The shield could certainly be better, though.
Another tricky fight. This is going to be Torvian. If you guys have struggled with this boss, he has these ads that you can see right now on the pillars. But he doesn't have a particularly good strategy, as he throws a rock and you can target those ads. Just like that. And it makes for a much smoother, much faster boss fight. After he's taken down 3 of them, the boss transitions into the second phase, which gives him a little bit of holy damage, some lightning damage. And there's a pretty nasty fire beam in particular that not only deals, there it is, 850 fire DPS per second. I think it also completely destroys your GPU. So good luck.
A lot of GPU DPS going on from that one as well. Incredibly bright beam as well. You have to quickly throw in your Sunny's IRL too. So a lot of eye DPS being performed.
Ziggy, trust me, this is not what you have to throw in the Sunnies for. It's coming up. You're about to get flashbanged a big time.
Oh yeah, everybody prepare your eyeballs. Prepare those retinas. Excellent.
Okay, here we go. What kind of shrine is Guy That Die going to get here? Again, Benedictus is the boss that's coming up, and it is by far the most dangerous boss in the campaign. Warriors, the way that they deal with it is there's one phase where oh no, he hits a skeleton shrine. Okay, so for warriors, there's one phase where he can't get stunned, and it allows you to build up stun, and that way you can stun the boss. I don't think we should be full screening, because there's a very high chance the Guy That Dies will be dying here, but you do end up getting a random shrine, and the Guy That Dies gets by far the worst shrine that he can possibly get. So I wonder what he's going to come up with here, and if he's going to stay alive. I mean, he picks it up ahead of time, and it does give you damage, but it's not damage that you need in this fight. It's mobility from an acceleration shrine, or some form of consistent chill from a Frost Nova shrine.
Gotcha, yeah.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. And Gorm is finishing up Torvian. Guy That Dies. beginning his Benedictus, switching over to lightning resistance gear, trying to get a little bit of crafting. There's going to be some simple mechanics, but there's also going to be some instant death mechanics. Most players dying to the maze. That's one of the phases that we're going to attempt to skip. But this guy just does so much damage.
Thankfully, the fire beam does go the other direction at the last moment there, giving Angormus just a little bit of breathing room. And now Angormus does get the kill, allowing us to full screen on the Benedictus fight for guy that dies. Let's check it out. Lots of damage from the grenades there. The burst is looking very good. Shrine is completely gone at this point.
And he's going to have to do the mace here. Yep.
Clean.
Pretty simple maze.
Dodge roll. Easy, easy. Nicely done.
Almost running back in, getting a little bit freaked out there.
Let's eat the pillar damage.
You can
from
see
that
how much
there.
damage.
Nasty. Oh yeah, that was like half his health just from that little hit.
And that was the precursor to the attack. That wasn't even the actual attack.
It wasn't even the main attack. Yes, you get hit by the main attack. It's done and dusted. So
okay, here we go.
Pillars coming down. Here we go. Yep. The arena closes in. That grenade damage is just so juicy though. Woo!
Oh, he's gonna get it.
Rocks.
Oh, that was close, but yeah, he's got it. Wow, nicely done.
Very nice.
I'm not quite sure if I'm
cool.
behind. Maybe I have to.
Yeah.
I'm opting for everybody refresh just so we're fully caught up, but because this race might just be really down to the wire here. So I'm going for a full refresh in case somebody's off sync. And Gorham is beginning his fight. Let's see. Also a skeleton shrine. But he does go back for it, so it's going to be a full duration. From what I'm seeing, 40 seconds on that one.
A little bit of added chaos, because you get the explosions, right? But there's some added chaos, I think, in there.
Oh, yeah,
well.
I cut it. Yeah. I think it's 20% extra damage. I'm not sure if it's 20% extra chaos or how that works, but it's definitely more damage. Here we go. Let's see. Is he going to be able to skip the dangerous phases?
Man, those are chunky shield hits there.
Oh, no. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm not quite sure if he's waiting here because he's almost got the stun up, but he's potentially waiting for the rock phase to inflict that stun so he can inflict it immediately after the boss gets out of it. Oh, he gets the stun here. Okay, this is dangerous for Angormus. This is sketchy. So what you want to do is you want to build up the stun, then the boss has an unstunnable phase. And when he finishes this phase, you instantly stun him and kill him. But without doing it, you're severely putting yourself at a pretty high risk. So he's going to have to make sure that he does as much damage as possible here. He has to dodge. Ooh, baby. That was close. That was close too.
Oh, no, he's
I'm
not
telling you guys,
yet.
this boss is a freak.
Lightning resistance is barely holding.
He's going to die.
Oh, no, the slopes. No. He gets out of there. He's still got health.
Oh, he has to do the maze. Oh, it's taking him so much time. This is why if you don't get that stun on a warrior, it's so difficult.
He's not done, though. He's not dead.
He's not done. There's still more to go. Normally, he would kill him instantly. Oh, he has to dodge again.
Oh, no. There it is. Oh, so much lightning damage. He's shocked. He can't. No, he can't get by another one. What? How does he survive the second one? Only just. Dodges the third one. Oh,
he still doesn't have it. There we go.
Come on. Oh, Angormus.
This is a hard boss.
With a thrilling and intense fight there on Benedictus for us, just making it through after multiple near-death experiences, shocked and eating the second lightning beam and still somehow surviving, managing to dodge the third that surely would have finished him off. Ooh, good job hanging in there, right? It's those moments testing you, that reveal your mettle. Nicely done, Angormus. We do have a death clip from Arco from earlier, which we can probably take a look at after their Daimora fight here as well.
No, we're about to get down, everybody. Oh, okay, nice. We're skipping the flashbang. Very good.
Tactical flashbang skip.
Very nice.
This was the death that we missed from Arco earlier. So he had himself a skeleton shrine heading through Shrike Island. Yeah, it was the Abyss. I think it was the Abyss, like you called.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just eaten by some big damage from the Abyss. I'm surprised even stopping to kill it. Might have just kind of felt like they couldn't get through there, potentially.
No, you have to. It's because if you do the Abyss, you get your support gem. So
right.
It's the guaranteed support gem drops that makes the difference.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. We do have Nakanu for Guy That Dies now as well, and Gormus waiting on the law.
Oh, we didn't skip the flashbang? Oh no. Show the rip clip again.
I'm gonna get,
wait, what's happening for Angormus?
He's waiting
bugged.
for law. Oh no. Not in a
Something's
hurry.
wrong.
Oh no. I don't know what he does.
Oh no, what is happening? This is something 30 seconds. Hooded One sometimes randomly is casting burrito. Huh?
Eating a burrito.
Oh, eating a burrito. He's casting a burrito? You put that burrito down right now.
Not showing up. Oh no.
Wait, something is super
I wonder
wrong.
if we can get some of these polished up for the next race next week.
Hopefully
This is our early access race 1 for the season. A little bit of a trial by fire, not only for the races, but also for some of the new content.
No! Get down, Mr. President! He cranked up the brightness in the settings. I'm happy you bugged. Good. I hope it bugs again. This man's a monster.
Look at you turning the bloom and everything up. Nice. Good.
Yep.
Thanks, Angormus. He's still got a sense of humor despite the delayed the delayed NPC speech there. Okay, Guy That Dies is heading through the heart of the tribe here, and let's have a look. Driz might be slightly ahead, so I'm not sure if Guy That Dies is going to be able to secure first.
Here we go.
Unfortunately, Driz.
Final boss. Final boss for Guy That Dies.
Let's have a look. It's time.
3 phases.
I'm refreshing. Let's
Very tricky.
Let's have a look.
Not quite sure if he is rank 1 currently, but he is the first person out of the streamers. This first phase, pretty easy. The second and the third one, pretty hard.
God, it is neck and neck for Driz and Guy That Dies here. So we'll be spectating Guy That Dies, but we'll let you know how Driz goes in comparison. Very nice first phase for Tavakai here. Good damage, not getting hit by anything. Mate, this is crazy. The first time that Angormus might not be getting the overall win.
Yep. And really, you can't blame it on the bug either, because both him and Guy That Dies had a pretty extreme bug in both cases. So they both lost about 30 seconds. Just vibing it, GG just died. Is that Driz? That just died in the background and he's having a conversation with Guy That Dies?
They might be.
Surely not.
That's Driz.
That is Driz. Okay, can Guy That Dies?
Crazy.
Can he do it here?
Without a death? Yeah, I know. He's got to get this one clean. He can't afford a death here. That gives it back to Driz. Oh, God, the leap slam hurts so much.
Yeah, he was dodging the cold damage attack I was talking about, and he had to dodge the slam.
Oh, God, he rolled right into that one. He did not dodge. All right, positioning. Yep.
This isn't even the hard phase either.
Oh,
he has to dodge so much here. Okay, here we go. Phase 3.
Though. Okay, here we go.
Okay, there's so many dangerous attacks here, but in the third phase, if you are consistent, it should be a lot easier, technically, compared to the second one. Our final boss, he's powering up. Driz, he's dead in the background. We can't show his stream, but apparently he died, and he was talking to Guy That Dies that he died. So if Guy That Dies gets it here, he doesn't die.
Would have been on the boss based on the timing.
Yep.
He was like 20 seconds ahead.
Here we go.
Just holding my breath. Okay.
He's going to eat some slimes here.
Yeah. As long as it's just that and not a follow-up.
Yeah, the important part is that there's a lot of ground effects that this boss puts out. These are it. So you can't stand in those red spikes. Oh no, there's going to be a big AoE coming up now. This big ball, it's right in the middle. It's definitely going to hit him.
Timing. It's so close. Hang in there. Just a bit more damage.
That was so close.
Just barely with a second to spare. Manages to get the kill before he perishes.
He was a millisecond away from dying.
Oh, mate. Well done. Guy That Dies taking their first ever overall win and claiming the previously unthought crown from Angormus. finally dethroning the champion. The unbeatable Engormus has been beaten. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I mean,
that
the
well
difference
done,
might
mate.
just end up being the Mercenary, right? This is a class race. Guy that dies might have come into this one with a superior strategy.
It's in such a close race between Mercenary and Warrior here. It's insane. They both have so much to improve and smooth out here. And I love that the Mercenary is so spicy because it is much sketchier. Like, they have much more chance of dying here than I think that Engormus does. And yeah, we did see a death
in mind,
from Engormus.
yeah, that we had a bug that both Engormus and Guy That Dies ended up wasting about 30 seconds due to that.
Everyone had
But
one,
the
yeah.
big difference was the fact that Engormus died. If Engormus didn't have that unfortunate death, maybe if he did strike Island first, like he typically does in his practice runs, that might have made all the difference. 2.5 minutes.
He could have had it at the 2.5 minutes, yeah. 100%. Like, this is, we'll see just how late he finishes this, if it's like 2.5 minutes after Guy That Dies. But so far, first phase looking pretty good. We'll see kind of how he handles the incoming damage from Tavakai, who's just kind of apparently just doing a combo in the corner by themselves there. What the boss is kind of going for that with that one. Does manage to avoid the swipe slam.
Nice big stun. Oh, he's gonna get it here. He's gonna skip the cold attack. That's super nice. Ooh, big slam. You have to dodge it. Didn't quite get it there. Nice.
Yeah. Gets out of the way of the second wave.
Still has to do a little bit more damage. There it is. Finally getting the third phase transition.
the boss glove slot for resistances as well for the next phase of the fight.
Yep. Super important. It's because he has leech on his gloves, but obviously you should have enough flasks here, so hopefully this will be enough. As Tavakai is having the worst Monday of his life, getting rejected by the Karui gods. And that's going to result in a pretty spicy phase 3.
Perhaps.
Nice big slam. Uh-oh. Oh, this is a nasty combo. Okay, nice. He gets lucky. So the boss places those red spikes and then he detonates them. And if he combines that with the green area, it does tend to get a little bit tricky.
Yeah, the angles worked in Engormus' favor very nicely there. Time for a stun. Oh, he gets out of the way. He hasn't quite got the stun yet. There we go. Stuns him against the wall. Has to just, he's positioned fine with those spikes. Plenty of space as well to finish this out. Oh, mate. So clean.
Is it now so little area to dodge?
There's only a little bit of space there. Ooh.
He's not quite getting frozen.
A spicy finish here.
Should be able to face tank this nicely.
Yeah, nice. There we go. Very well done, Engormus. With a nice, clean kill in the end there. A little bit spicy at the end. He's trying to figure out exactly where he is. He's certainly got his first place warrior. Congratulations to Engormus taking first place warrior. And looks like Driz died a second time to Tavakai after such an insane race, leading pretty much most of it. And I thought for sure taking the win over Guy That Dies. Guy That Dies took first place Mercenary, and Driz still trying to get that win, but not quite able to get it yet. So
hold on, like, something's off. There's a second place that finished, but then it's not Guy That Dies, and it's not Engormus.
Huh?
It's Whole New Society finishing after Guy That Dies about 2.5 minutes later.
That was our third Mercenary, wasn't it? Oh,
second Mercenary. Second Mercenary, second overall, with Engormus being first warrior, third overall.
There we go. So Whole New Society managing to kind of catch up during Drizz's death there to take second Mercenary, and Driz likely in the run for third Mercenary as long as they can close out their fight. Of course, not streaming, unfortunately. We can't bring you those guys. This time around, though, next week we should have the spectating client fixed, and we should be able to get a look in at anyone, regardless of whether they're streaming or not. Meanwhile, we've got Torvian down for Arco, our second place warrior here, about to move through some spicy and exciting boss fights. It's a good time to check in on them. And we'll start to look at some of the other classes that we haven't had too much of a chance to see, just to see how they're faring now as well. So it's a good chance to bring in. We've got Bunker on the Huntress coming in on the top right now as well. And we'll get some of the other ones in. But congratulations to Engormus for taking his first place warrior, but also exciting times as he gets his little first taste of a semi-defeat, in a sense.
Oh, no. Shackle Coach is dead, but he's not showing the timer. What's happening?
Oh, strange. Yeah.
Huh. Unusual. Well, I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to show you guys. There's not a lot of players streaming this time around, I gotta say. I'm not quite sure if we're going to be able to show you guys all of the other class finishes. In the meanwhile,
Lots of
we've got
secret strats coming out for this first race, maybe.
Bonka on the Huntress in the top right for you guys. How's Sarge doing? Is he still playing? On the Monk, he is in the waterway, so quite a ways away from the finish line, but
Yeah.
oh my god.
And we just tuned in. Oh god, Caster Curse.
Let's go, Caster Curse.
Oh,
Let's
dear,
go.
No.
Yes. Yes. I couldn't find a more perfect player to do this to, I gotta say.
Such poor Sarge.
Yes.
Oh no.
Let's go. I love that.
Right,
That might be my favorite part of the event.
So it looks like the fixed seed does fix the shrines for everyone too, because I'm noticing that Arco also has the
makes
the
sense.
Chaos shrines. Everyone gets the same one, so that's nice and fair, even for the shrines there, which is cool. Bunko getting a little low on the Huntress there, managing to survive. Let's see how the spicy but somewhat low res boss fight goes for Arco here in a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I couldn't quite remember that. I think that did end up getting fixed in PoE 1 as well, where the shrines were fixed. But it's been so long since we've had events such as this one in PoE 1 that I kind of forgot, I'll be honest. But Arco skipping a lot of the objectives of the zone. There's a lot of side objectives. He doesn't care about any of them. He just wants the shrine, and he wants the Benedictus, who was really tricky. I gotta say, for Angormus, that was such a spicy fight. Normally on a warrior, like I said, hopefully Arco is going to be able to showcase us this over here. You kind of time the amount of damage that you do with the stun, and you essentially end up skipping the entirety of the second phase that almost killed Angormus multiple times. But he wasn't quite able to do it, mostly due to the RNG on his shield. Quite bad RNG indeed for Angormus. But will Arco be able to overcome his opponent here? Oh my god, he drops to like half from the boss beginning the fight. Oh my, this is the damage that I was expecting out of Angormus.
Yeah, look at that damage though.
That's a good shield.
He's got a bit of a better shield for sure. That is a ton of shield slam damage there, even outperforming what we saw from the grenades there with the bombard crossbow. It's crazy. So despite the damage the grenades can put out, it looks like the shields can be there if you can get the right shield in your hands. Huge damage.
And this is what we were hoping for. Oh, he still has to go for the dodge. Oh no, he's panicking. Oh, he gets the mace too. So despite the amazing damage, not quite able to time things together there. Maybe getting a little bit overeager in the first phase, that resulting in a stun. And now he has to get one more attack in, and he's going to be able to do so. Oh my goodness, he had like 10 lightning resistance. Yeah. For comparison, I'm pretty sure Angormus had like over 60, and he was almost dying to like every single attack. So
Angormus almost died like 3 times to the lightning damage in that fight. So very sketchy fight for Arco there, but the damage is seems to be carrying. He's just getting through on the raw DPS there. But there we go. We have an exciting, if a little chaotic, and a little bit of a shaky first race overall. I think it's going to be a big motivational thing for Angormus to get in and do some big practice and maybe get that reclaim that crown as overall winner next week. But very exciting to see someone else and a different class even to take the lead there, with Guy That Dies taking first Mercenary, but in no way a sure thing, with 3 Mercenaries providing some extreme competition on that class. So all of a sudden, Mercenary top class, and a lot of competition on that class too, which is very exciting for the upcoming 2 races. And we should hopefully have some spectating tool stuff sorted out by next week, and we can have a much better look at things, and also the races will have a much more of a chance to have refined their strategies as well on top of that.
Yeah, hopefully a few less bugs, hopefully a few less issues. We're having an update from Angormus that he did in fact have 51 lightning resistance. So
yeah, wow.
Yeah, Arco would have died to just about every ability there. So great job, great performance from more of our players. little bit of wonky RNG, and I gotta say, I really like the 2.5-minute timers. I'm a huge hardcore fan, so I was kind of thinking, you know, just give him hardcore, kill him off. But then, you know,
I
the
think this is better
caster
than
in
hardcore.
me, yeah, the caster in me was thinking it's probably gonna make for a better show if we have that timer. And yeah, every single one of those seconds from those 2.5 minutes feels excruciating
Yeah, it's
to watch,
brutal.
and even more so, I'm sure, for our players.
Yeah, the 2.5 minutes is really tough, but it still provides that opportunity for the comeback story, or for if everyone has that. You know, we're not just out. The race doesn't just end. we get to still see that competition as like everyone who has one death gets to continue fighting, which seems to be happening on some of the classes in the background. We've got sorcerers and stuff like that, trying to close
100%.
out with their death each amongst them. So many deaths, which was somewhat anticipated with the new act. But it's been, I love to be here for some Path of Exile 2 racing. I'm looking forward to seeing how things shake out for the next weeks. Thanks to GGG for putting this on. And I know they're working super hard in the background to try and like get these extra tools and support just for this racing community. And I appreciate them doing that, because it's a big undertaking for them, in addition to like working on
making the game
itself,
you know,
right? To be making
the
like
game
tools specifically for racing and supporting that aspect of the community is very cool. And not only that, but the community itself coming together a lot more too. I know people have been doing things like submitting for GDQs and organizing community events, and more and more like different types of racing. We had some other races events. If you didn't see it, there was a group race recently that was very entertaining, with some extra fun rules, as well as things like gauntlets. And it's good stuff. I love to see the racing support. But we're going to leave it here for now, folks. Yeah, Ross.
I was just going to shout out the racing Discord. There's a bunch of different public Discords that, if you were enjoying the event, you might want to try to get into racing.
Yep.
Maybe you just want to get a little bit better at the campaign, you know, do some... it was a little bit funny, I'm not going to lie, when we started the broadcast and players were asking, or viewers were asking, hey, how long is this going to take? And we had a bunch of responses who were saying, you know, 10 hours, 8 hours. Well, turns out you can do the campaign a lot faster than you would think if you kind of have an idea of what you're doing. So if that is something that you're interested in, make sure to check out the PAB Racing Discord, and also a bunch of the other Discords that
if you
available
if you
to
jump
everybody.
in there or ask any of the races, they'll be able to point you in the right direction as far as the Discord groups and the racing community and things like that. And definitely check out some of the streams of some of these races. Drop them a follow and cheer them on. And if anyone kind of captured your heart a little bit, maybe the tragedy of you know, some of the deaths, or people just kind of like coming from nowhere and getting themselves onto the racing scene, get out there and cheer them on, because it's a big motivational factor for them in, you know, putting on all this work, not only to become the best racers they can be, but also help the other racers get as good as they can, so that we can watch some very cool races. But yeah, do you guys have anything further to add for today, Rise?
Hey, shout out to Driz. We weren't able to watch his run, but technically he was the first person to reach Act 4 boss, and then he ended up dying twice apparently. So hopefully we're going to be able to witness their progression in the upcoming race that's happening just a week from now, starting at the same time.
Super keen to see him.
It's going to be a fun one.
I'll see you folks next time. Bye-bye.